Hey, welcome back to Métropole Grid. My name is Andre. Thanks so much for tuning in. I think it's January 16th. It's an even-numbered year. It is a Tuesday afternoon, and oh, the music's off. I just want to get out in front of it today at the top to say that in immediate hindsight, I named the stream The Grand Reveal. And so if you're here thinking there's going to be something revealed, in no ways is there going to be anything revealed worth anything. We're just going to play the bad Jinteki identity, of which name I cannot remember. I want to say Iswak, and obviously we both know that's not right. But you know which one I'm talking about, right? That's why the stream is named that. Immediately I should have named it something else. I realize in hindsight, I don't mean to mislead. So we're going to get in front of that. It says grand in quotes, okay? Media literacy. So sorry. There's no reveal. And not only is there no reveal, we're going to go from no reveal to playing, again, that Ashes Jinteki identity that I still don't know the name of. Andreas Scoops, god damn it. Clickbait achieved. I really should have seen this coming. And then, like, I was, making coffee and reading the chat and people were like, Hemlock Vale spoilers. No. You wish. I wish. We both wish. Clickbait titles are part of the grind? Telling me. You see my react face game? I've been like nailing that YouTube algorithm. What is it even called? It's not called Iswak. What is it called? Hyoubu is the ID. Thank you, Ba. How's it going? We're playing Hyoubu today. I really decided to play Hyoubu. I woke up, chose violence. I don't think it's going to be great. We just had such a good time playing. Why is the font like that? Great time playing Epiphany, so we thought we'd revisit this. There's one card I'm actually excited about, so we'll see it. Playing some Arsonic Grande. How's it going? Let me catch up on chat. Yo, Alec, how's it going? Now on Tuesday's fun time. Heart to you as well. What's being revealed, Rahit? Nothing besides cards. I'm sorry. Hemlock Vale spoilers. Mikey, excuse me. I'm sorry. By the way, Cinderin asking about his Tolkien-ass name. It is a Tolkien-ass name, in fact. What's good, peeps? Yo, Bill, how's it going? Fresh coffee. That's what's good. This coffee is super fresh. Just made it. Elwin, you know what's good. I once learned quite a lot of Kenya and a bit of Cinderin. So Cinderin's a language? Kenya is the language of the elves, right? Anyone else watching GDQ? I watched very little. I've only watched a bit this week. It's hard to talk about GDQ because it's really easy to make people more excited about a different stream that's happening right now. I'm pretty sure a dog is speedrunning a game today. The first ever game sped run by a dog in a tournament setting, or what's it called? A marathon setting. That's kind of cool. Yeah, Games Done Quick is a big video game speedrunning charity. It happens generally twice a year, the big ones. There's Awesome Games Done Quick that happens in January, and then Summer Game Done Quick, which happens in either June or July. I think it's late June. And they raise a lot of money for charities. It's usually like Médecins Sans Frontières, which is Doctors Without Borders, or they do for generally the other ones they do is like cancer research stuff. They raise a lot of money. It's a sort of thing that's been around for a long time now, and it's got bigger and bigger to the point where it's largely in the mainstream, and it is a massive organization. But if you look back and watch some of the older clips, it's like really small thing with like small, not even convention spaces, but like, booked conference rooms in hotels with like 4 or 5 people. It's wild. It gets really big really fast. You can check out the schedule. It's pretty good. They also put most of their stuff up on YouTube as the VODs, and there's always like montages and stuff like that. Yeah, no reveal. So sorry. The following angry review will take place over 17 posts. Well, that's very funny. Oh, man. This isn't secretly a Flintstones movie card game channel? That was a demo. I don't even know what that means. Is that... I've seen, I think, 1.5 of the Flintstones movies. How you doing? Hey, Andre. I was planning to try to catch you with my Thule deck. I mentioned my Patreon message, but I guess that's not today if you're playing Corp. Oh, bummer, Mikey. So when I messaged you, I needed to respond to. I even, like, what I originally intended was, like, if you want to share the deck list with me, I can play it on your behalf on stream. The fact that you wanted to play it against me on stream is something we can definitely do. I don't really have a runner deck set up for that, but it's something we could probably consider. For what's worth, the deck list of the week right now for the runner side isn't, like, a particularly robust thing that would be excited to play into Hyoubu. Sorry, not to Hyoubu, into, Iswak. Not even that, into Thule. I'll get there. I've been looking to make a Saraswati deck soon. Saraswati is like, it's okay. So, okay. We're going to get a bit negative during the stream because we're going to be talking about these IDs that don't really do anything. For what it's worth, Saraswati is a lot of times, there's two things you can do with Saraswati, right? It's like you can put out a lot of traps and that's okay. You actually just have like click compression. I don't know why the font is doing this, but you have click compression to like do things like install advanced and agenda. The fact that you can basically, you know, put a 4-2 on the table last click is pretty cool. And then you end up with an ability that is kind of comparable to all other Jinteki mid-range economy abilities if you want to like push out agendas. But unfortunately, almost none of those decks have the exact amount of economy and ice, and they have defensive upgrades to make them work. So generally, you're like more recommended to go into the trap line, right? Like if you're a Saraswati gamer, oh man, you're gonna like Jumon. And even then, if you ask me, at the end of the day, would I like to have pay a click to get more stuff having advancements on it, or would I like to just have an ability in which the traps are more lethal? And that's usually where I find myself. It's like kind of similar with Iswak. Like I'm not 100% sure if NSG wants us to play Iswak as in like a mitosis deck. I'm assuming they do, where there's a bunch of things on the table that have advancements. And then Iswak in theory makes those advanceable traps threaten not lethal sooner, but game points sooner. But a lot of the times the decks that are threatening like big traps on the table, they're not actually threatening to score the 7 points. They're threatening to kill, which generally makes personal evolution a better home for them. That's the short of my thesis, where if I'm playing any trap deck, I think it's really hard not to play PE, because PE protects all central servers, and it makes your advanced traps, if they're agendas, let alone across, again, all servers, more deadly, as opposed to getting the click compression of this to be more relevant somehow. It's really, really difficult. The grande reveal of nothing. How's it going, Sean? Doing all right, killing the last 4 hours of 12-hour shift. 12-hour shift. Ah, all right, we're almost through it. Let's go. Sindarin and Kenya are both Elven languages. I was familiar with the name Kenya. My partner always watches through like the entirety of the extended Lord of the Rings for Christmas. So I got to watch a whole bunch of it recently. Those films are so fantastic. The books I've read, some of them, but not all of them. I do want to read all of them. Hey, Dan, pretty excited for the Metropole Grid face reveal. How's it going? Why would Token of all people only make one conlang? Hold up, there's really dog speed running? What game? I think it's the dog is speed running Gyromite. Yeah, you can watch a dog speed run at NES Game Live today. I think Gyromite's the one with Rob, if I'm not mistaken. So like it has a controller that is not like small buttons. It has like the big Rob controller. I think. I haven't played Gyromite, but that's happening well, during this stream, so that's really good timing. But yeah, the dog is just going to be playing some stuff. It looks like there's a little doggo controller. I don't think the dog is going to be on their own. I think there's going to be somebody basically helping the dog do stuff. But at the end of the day, the dog is going to be doing all the actual gaming, which is sick. It's really cool. Dogs should have been gaming a long time. Oh, I love to see you stream again. Yo, Lord Peacher, how's it going? They used to be in basements. Yes, if you look at again, like 2006, 2005, it's a different change. The thing really exploded. Let's get dog running Netrunner games. Sure, the Cheerfog exists, we can do it. I really wish there was a multiplayer ANR RPG. Like Netrunner RPG? Because there is. FFG made one. I don't know if they still support it, but they made like a World of Android, unless ANR means something different. But there is like a World of Android RPG using the Genesis system, which I'm not super familiar with, but there is an RPG somewhere. Hey, Metropole, do you have or know a guide of how to get into this game? Where are the cards and resources to play? Yo, Calibosex, yes, I do. I definitely do. I don't have a great video up on this channel. If you're looking to learn to play, there's like a couple videos up. NSG has a learn to play video on their channel. Recently, a guy named James just put up one. I don't know if I'm going to find it. Netrunner learn to play. I'll link it in the description below after the video. Team Covenant has some old ones that are using FFG cards, but the game is mostly the same. I think the big thing that you want to go to, there's 1.5 links. The first one is nearearthhub.net, which is a really good conglomeration of resources for not only new players, but all players. So all the necessities of like how to play online, the deck builder, the play against the AI deck builder, competitive resources, sure. Some Netrunner videos, learn to play stuff. This could and should be updated probably. And then community resources are really important because Green Level Clearance Discord is probably where you want to be if you're learning the game. The Discord channel is absolutely sick. All other rules stuff and those can be found on the nullsignal.games website. They have a comprehensive rules page. They also have like a learn to play rules page, but this website's really, really good for that. There's a lot of stuff here that is not like necessary. You can buy the products here too, which you can find in Null Signal Games. But I would start here. It usually has most of what you want. But there's a whole bunch of videos that do learn to play. I don't honestly know off the top of my head if there's great videos to be like, oh, you learn to play. What's your first couple games? We have, mind you, on this channel, we have a whole bunch of videos focusing on like fundamental stuff, which I think is a nice place to be, assuming you know how to play the game. So recently, this one is a bit more hardcore. This like Find the Agendas one that we put out a couple months ago, but this fundamentals from 2 years ago has a different card pool, but it focuses on playing the game and structuring your turn. 7 tips is like a good 7 tips, but it's just like make your play better, not like how to win the game. Otherwise, that's usually my start. But one of the best things you can do if you want to like really learn the game quickly is you go to Green Level Clearance Discord, which you can find the link, mind you, on this Near Earth Hub page. Did I close it? And in there you can tag a mentor. So you do @mentor and then be like, hey, I'm learning the game System Gateway on Jinteki.net. Can you play with me? So that helps. Why are you punishing yourself? Some days. Saraswati is a mind game deck. I do think it's a mind game deck. I just think like the payoff for PE being a mind game deck is generally higher. I can def share it too. Let me know. Yeah, okay, cool. Saraswati rules, all other opinions will be disregarded. Yeah, that's totally fine. I mean, the ideas all do something, but whenever it's doing something good or impactful, it's much more in debate. It's like very much not dissimilar to the NBN discussion we had last week, where there's a bunch of decks that all do something kind of similar. Like Asmari just gives you a bunch of money, regardless of what game plan is. 40 minimum deck size. That's already a good starting spot. Then you have Near Earth Hub if you want to play assets, and it gives you 17 influence on a card draw almost every turn. Okay, then if you want to play Reality Plus, it makes your ice better and some of your tag punishment cheaper. Okay, 40 card minimum. And then, like, unfortunately, at the last of the list, you have like Epiphany, which sometimes does something. And it's just like, there's not enough cards in each of these card pools that builds into that identity, but not the other identities. That is really hard not to just pick the option that is the generalist best option. And Saraswati is exactly like that. There's like almost no card that is better in Saraswati that wouldn't be better in or comparable in something else, barring the fact that you can install advanced like a snare. Not that you really want to do that all the time. Didn't we once realize that you can't res things installed with Saraswati until after your next start of turn triggers? Oh, that part is so bad too. Yeah, that was a huge surprise. It says you cannot score or res that card until your next turn begins. So I was assuming that at the beginning of your next turn, you could res the cards, but your turn begins window happens during your turn begins. So you can't even res your stuff. So if you like install advanced, like like a Rashida Yahim, or I don't know what happens. There's more impactful things here. You can't actually use it the following turn because there's no window to res it before the start of turn triggers. Well, this will go off. It's so bad. It's unfortunately like it really encourages you to do more like, you know, heavy traps. And then still, would I play PE? Probably. I hate that ruling. Yeah, Kyle, I really don't like that ruling. Trap decks crumbled to mill solitaire sort of runner decks? I don't think so. I think trap decks are actually really cool right now that you can build. There's a lot of good support pieces that will punish runners for not running. Back in the day, there weren't that many options. There's only like one really good option that if the runner said like, oh, if I don't run, I lose the game. And now there's a whole bunch of them. Ronin doesn't see play, but like Clearinghouse sees play. So the runner has to run the right advanced stuff or they die. And then on top of that, of course, we have things like Fuji Asset Retrieval. I think, do we still have the 4-2 that does 2 meat damage? And when you score this, you do 3 damage in Personal Evolution. And then you can easily play, mind you, a Neurospike. So there are like a lot of lines where if you just play solitaire, you actually do lose the game. And I think for that reason, like, PE shell game is in a much better state than it looks like it is. I think the Lu decks have low hand size. That's kind of interesting. It's not going to be the easiest matchup, but like we saw it at Worlds, it does do well. Ghostmate had the only PE deck at CBI. How bad is PE now? I don't think it's that bad. I think there's a lot of other stuff people wanted to do. The question is, what do you want to do with PE? Like Assets PE is a bit trickier into the Lu Hosh meta. That's probably likely, but like I think horizontal traps is nobody's playing like damage protection besides, you know, Audrey into a steel skin and or just steel skin, so it's not bad. Yo, Augustus, how's it going? Congratulations on the weekend, mind you. We just finished streaming a giant CBI, 107 players down to top 8 cut. This was all on the weekend. If you're not familiar with this, go check it out. It was such a good tournament. This eventually will be up on the Null Signal Games YouTube channel. Otherwise, you can find the VODs for the next month on Null Signal Netrunner Twitch. And an absolute stellar event. The finals, you could not ask for 2 better finalists, and the finals was so exciting. So congratulations to everyone who went out and who played. I'd be really excited to hear how your narratives are. I know there's a lot of folks who played for a couple rounds and dropped because of time zones or the first rounds didn't go well. Still excited to hear about how things go. So Android is the setting name for FFG Netrunner, and there are other things by FFG set in that setting, but some. There's a board game just named Android. Yeah, there's a couple board games demo. There's the Android board game. There's Android Mainframe. There's New Angeles. There's Infiltration. There's like a bunch. But yeah, Android is the FFG universe. Netrunner is Netrunner. Fantastic. Thank you. Yeah, I know for sure. I'll link that. And if you have any question, Calabosx, please ask. This game has admittedly a bit of a learning curve. If you're not familiar of where you should start, I think Chiriboga is a really good place to start because it will teach you how to play against an AI and playing the system gateway deck. So like the learn to play entrance stuff, which is fantastic. The tutorial deck, I would go through that. And then if you obviously don't know what the game is, the first thing you should get by a mile is System Gateway, which is like the learn to play set that NSG put out last 3 years ago now. And it's the best learn to play product Netrunner ever has. This still says Nisei on it. This should be updated. It's really, really good. And you don't actually have to spend a dime. All this stuff is available on print and play, pay what you want. And if you do like the stuff and you think it's great, which most of us here do, here, mind you, is the learn to play video. Who did that graphics intro? It's me. You can buy it. But otherwise, you can print and play, and proxies are allowed at all levels of organized play. I'm really behind on chat. Let me catch up. There's a newer video, What is Netrunner from Good Game? I'll try to link it. I think I've seen that one. It's a couple months old. Yeah. I wouldn't say that PE has a higher payoff for mind games, rather it has a lower lows because you still get damage if the runner guesses right and picks the agenda out of the 3 fresh installed cards. Yeah, and then also like if they run a central and hit a sting, you win, right? Like it just helps every server works into your game plan as opposed to like Saraswati has that kind of fundamental loose to centrals problem if you can make the remote server really, really matter. Because if you're playing a lot of traps, they're soft on centrals, and then inherently PE has built-in central protection and this doesn't, right? Like it's hard to build something that does something similar to PE without PE not just being better than it. Obviously, personal evolution will rotate later this year, and that will open up a bunch of other stuff. Not that Saraswati isn't rotating. They're ruling is such nonsense without the card text being changed. It's weird. I agree. It's weird. Great news, Pompey. After 4 years, I'm back to playing weekly Netrunner with my friend. Yo, how's it going after 4 years? Yo, that's wild. Welcome back. The game's in a really great spot. Hopefully you and your friend are having fun. You could be playing at any card pool. I don't actually know. Viral weaponization. You want to imp viral? You can score viral. Like you can steal viral. But yeah, you don't want this to go off. I haven't seen this thing go off in years though. Infiltration was fun. Too bad it's out of print. Fun fact, the original concept of Infiltration was being in a gumball factory. Then FFG bought it and slapped Android on top. I played Infiltration once while IDing at a regional in Ottawa and had a great time, and I would play it again. I remember it being very fun, but I don't remember much about it besides it's push your luck. You're kind of climbing up a staircase. Just talking about video games, I know there are heaps of tabletop RPGs and board games. Oh, okay, cool. Like an ANR board game. There are folks who put out Netrunner content for Arkham Horror. I know there's like a campaign and a half. There's also like cyberpunk stuff for that. I think the closest thing to an Android Netrunner like big video game is obviously Cyberpunk 2077. It's not my game so far. My computer can't run it that well for what it's worth, but it doesn't seem like it's going to tackle a lot of the like cool parts of Netrunner the way that you want it to. So we'll see. I played against a viral Wepatea at CBI. Oh, super cool. Did it fire? Saraswati used to have that extra click to play a lockdown, but then they added Lacosta to the game and kind of lost that niche. Yeah, that's like the neat thing about this is like you have the ability to play a 5-3 with the Saraswati ability, and then you can play a lockdown. You're totally right that like once Lacosta came out, you kind of got that click compression anyways, let alone on top of that, right, like Seamless, which technically doesn't work as well with the lockdowns, but if you want to score out a 5-3 on the following turn, you can do that. But yeah, that is like one of the neat things that uniquely is Saraswati, which is so important to like pinpoint when you're talking about an identity is what it does very uniquely. And yeah, you can do install a 5-3 with Saraswati, advance it, and then like play any of the lockdowns. The Jinteki one is fine, and then the neutral one's also fine too. Hyoubu precog manifold. Yeah, these are fine. They're underplayed. Barring the fact that imp is everywhere, I honestly think what's it called is a really, really good card. Corden. I think Corden's sick. Great job emceeing the CBS stream. Was a great tournament all around. Thank you. That's Namoon. Oh, really fun tournament. It was really great. The meta is like not as I think diverse as people sometimes are excited about, but the games are still really fun. I'm not too big of a stickler. Like it's obviously unfortunate when you look at the top cut and it's like out of 7 anarchs, mind you, 107 players going to top cut, 8-player top cut is a heck of a top cut. But the games are at least really, really exciting. Yo, Izzy, how's it going? How was your weekend? We were watching you in the standings. Looks like you're doing pretty well. Hopefully you had a good time. My Saraswati deck was exactly playing Wayland Lockdown. It was so fun. Oh, the Argus one for more damage? This card is like 3 or 4 influence? 3 influence. If this was less influence, you'd probably play it in other places. It's like a card that's nearly unhealthy. But luckily. Should have been top 16 and not just because I would have made top cut. Wait, what happened, Izzy? I take it you were on PD and Crim still, right? Back in the day, it was irrelevant. Boomerang, boat, and botches were absolutely everywhere, so you'd play the HB Lockdown. We saw a bit of the HB Lockdown. We saw some players play it last weekend. That is next activation command. Still not a bad card. If you're playing Byroids, even better. It's okay. For 3 influence in Jinteki, I don't know if I'd be excited about it, but yeah, there was a time where this was such a huge meta card because a lot of the ways the runners were attacking servers were based off of this non-icebreaker clause. Modernly today, that's not untrue. It's funny though that it doesn't deal with Banhar. You always find a new way to get through it. You came in 12th after Swiss. I don't even think I realized that. That's really well done, Izzy. Well played. Are you doing their Argus Adrian combo? That's some nasty stuff. Wait, what? Argus Adrian? What's Argus? Is Argus a breach step? No, sorry, the other Argus. Is Argus lockdown a breach step? Crackdown? Oh, it's successful run step. So you can't make this fire more than once ever, can you? Eric, how's it going? I'm like so close just to continue the real fun thing in my head to just respond to you in Mickey Mouse voice. I don't know why. Or that one stream and then I thought it'd be really funny. All right, let's try and build a deck with Hyoubu in it. We'll do it for a bit. If it's bad, there's no actual reveal today. We're just revealing cards. I messed up. Please continue to Mickey at us. Hello, Eric. Welcome to the stream. We need to figure out who cursed you to force TA breakers round 1 every time, mostly our sake. Do you know what I feel really bad about? Chromatically. I really like Chromatically play. I think he's a fantastic Netrunner player. Nice guy. And then he played, 8 rounds at CBI. We saw 3 of them on and off stream. Guess which 3 rounds he lost? I think he went 5 and 3, and every single round he lost was on stream. One of them was kind of close, and not as in close, but like he was holding on close, but he was like way behind and he could almost catch up. But then I think every other game we saw on stream, he got so bodied, which like sucks. He lost 3 games. It was every single game we put him on camera. Yeah, I don't know. Like, if people don't want to be on stream, like, there's reasons not to do it. I would tell Chromatically, probably put yourself on the do not stream list. Because I was, like, so excited to see Chromatically play, like, Fundamentals Criminal. Just got bodied. Like, unfortunately. And it was the only 3 games he lost, which, like, still, 5-3 is a good score. Bummer. Making the run back makes the fire more than once. Yeah, in theory, you could do Anoetic. You could do anything there, but that's really good. Is it that Anarchs are just playing better, or are other factions just weak? John, how's it going? I think that's harder to say. I think the Anarch decks right now are really flexible. For what it's worth, like Hoshiko is representing a lot of that, and there is like 2 or 3 Hoshiko lists that are all saying competitive play. You have the Mulch variants, then you have the Virus, you have Maori variants, Good Stuff variants, then you have like just regular stuff variants, which like Sokka and Wiki were playing. So I think that's going to be really good because it has a really flat spread. It's the deck that won Worlds, like it's just really good. I think Criminal is in a good spot against HB and stuff like that, against NBN assets. None of that was really huge at the last tournament. So Asmari Glacier is not a great matchup into Criminal, I don't think. I'm not sure what else is accounted for there. We saw a lot of Asmari Glacier. Op is not an amazing matchup into Criminal. It's a bit, I would say, even. And then again, on Anarch side, we have Lu and Essa. I think Essa's fun as a nice way to attack players. I think Lu is also a really fun deck and has a surprisingly like close but exciting matchup into like Asmari Glacier. Just if you're playing at least Tranquilizer, I think that's super important. So I think it's a lot of things. I think all the other decks, I think Shaper probably is the hardest to play. I think Shaper also does do well if you can call what the meta is, because you can depend your deck, you can change your deck on it. And the meta here there's 3 or 4 archetypes that you had to deal with relatively well to high tables, but I think Shaper probably has the less flexibility, but it's not like most Anarch decks, like Hoshiko decks, are that different. But I think that's a big thing, is like there's 3 good Hoshiko decks that lots of people love in a different way. It's consistent. The Lu decks are really fun. I like that people are playing them. And that was largely it. We saw one lat. But like for what we saw in the top cut, like Criminal, I'm not too surprised. It almost made it, but it didn't make it because I feel like the matchups were way worse for Criminal this week than they were the previous week at Man the Moons. Way to rep my favorite zoo. Toronto Zoo's a really good zoo. This is Maddie's sweater. It's mine now though. Zai was amazing for me during the event. My Asmari kill deck completely flopped, or at least I flopped at piloting it. Ah, bummer. Sorry, Eric. I can't do this, man. Oh man, my Tuesday is great now. If you have some tag me punishment, end of the line would be a good inclusion. In what, Bill? Sorry, I'm behind. Oh, in that deck, yeah. Speaking of the stream curse, can you delete round 3 of the VODs? Thanks. Cleva, was it that? I don't remember what round 3 was. I don't know if I was on comms or not. I don't think I was. I was watching all the games. I was mousing over cards when I'm like not commentating, and I was hopefully doing a really good job showing the bin and all this sort of stuff. I was like, oh, this helps. Hopefully it helps. Let me know if it helps, because I was trying to mouse over everything, arguably maybe too fast. But then once I went back to commentating, like the mouse quality fell off a cliff real bad suddenly. Enrix have a more even matchup spread. It's probably a more accurate statement. Crims win stuff too. Soccer's world winning deck was actively hoping to dodge Shaper. Yeah, the dodge Arsana play is also like, I think that was Mari Glacier decks hate Arsana. I think you're gonna have to struggle a bit breaking Hydra, but like, yeah, that deck has a really bad matchup into like double turbine or even like single turbine. I guess slap vandal, not really slap vandal, but like the Shaper matchup is really bad into the NBN Glacier decks. There's just generally people don't bring Arsana into top cut, because it's really difficult to play that deck really well for a long time, and it has some other matchups that are probably not amazing. I'm not sure where Criminal exceeds that compared to other factions. It's not super click compressed or oppressive econ-wise. It bypasses the ATM kind of lackluster. Just like good stuff Criminal decks are winning major events, like almost won Worlds, almost won the last event, won UK Nationals. Like Criminal decks are really good right now. It's just consistent central pressure. And the difference of playing a Corp deck where you have to lock down your central servers versus Zaya before you can enact your game plan safely is a world of difference. Which is why some of like the ASA decks, the PDD decks really slow down. You have Infaction miss bones, you have the sort of click compression, and you get paid to check things, so you're relatively good into assets. There's a lot to be said that's really strong about Criminal right now. Amaku is also like still, as much as Mavirus is really high, is a really powerful card still. As much as running Archives can be sometimes pretty cursed. But yeah, right? Like Izzy played this deck, got 12th. It's just Rotom Sable. That's the one that won UK Nats. Shout out to commentating with a whole bunch of people this last weekend. Cord Gank, Rotom, fantastic. That was a really nice, the UK crowd that came in early before the time zones got really rough. And then who else? Repo Rogue, Pants, Orbital. Oh, if I forget someone, I'm gonna feel really bad. Vale. Oh, Vale's great too. There's a lot of really nice people that share the microphone, which is fantastic. I think Rotom should do more commentary as well. I really want to see how the Zaya deck is after losing daily cast. Well, it'll gain something in that spot. It's not just going to lose daily cast. This one isn't on daily cast. The Zaya deck is on 3 though. Moving the mouse while talking is so hard. It's kind of really hard, Axu. You're not wrong. How's it going, by the way? Round 3, I got gank looped and a single Mav recurred times. Oh, I think I remember that matchup. I do think I remember that matchup. I think there were interesting plays on both sides that were not taken. Like it gave the commentators a lot to work with that game, which is cool. Criminal's excellent at matching speed of rush decks. Like it's easy to eats up FA Ob and PD. Yeah. Round 3 was the Asa that recurred Mavirus 3 times against Lou. Warlock, how's it going? Yeah, I do remember that one. That was the infinite drafter stuff. It's really hard to charge a drafter on that. Like there's some runs where it's like run RD, hit a drafter, and you're like, wait, they can recur the thing endlessly. I just have to jack out. Really been loving the toolbox efficiency ads builds. If I was to play competitive, I would genuinely grind ads until I convince myself that the matchup spread is pretty bad. I don't know how bad the matchup spread is, but I genuinely think as is the most fun. And it's the sort of deck too, where like, I know I have enough experience with the deck that I can play it better than a lot of folks have experience into it, which is useful. If a lot of people can't tell what as can do, or, you know, take it for granted, I think it helps. I don't know if this is the perfect list, but playing this brew, fundamentally it kind of looks like, you know, the sort of Zaya list we're just looking at, but it attacks on a different angle, and I really like it. I would grind this a bit more if I was going to grind something. We're playing Sunset Pub Runner tomorrow. Yo, Phil, let us know how it goes. I think a lot of people are going to be playing Sunset now. They're running till 6:30 a.m. was an experience. Hey, Sauce. Hopefully it went okay. That's why it's fun. It's also really fun. It's like genuinely really fun too. You have creativity, there's player expression, the top of the deck matters. Like you're paying 1 and hoping things work out for you. Like there's a lot to it, and I think the Az decks are slightly flexible as well. Sable's a best to play. Super impressed that you got to deck to 12th, Izzy. I was too cowardly to take it with the rumblings of Glacier everywhere. Yeah, Izzy, what were your matchups? Because there are some bad matchups for sure. If you get locked out, this deck is really kind of ugly. You don't have any daily cast, that might not matter too much. We're going to stream Sunset this coming Monday too. Oh, at some point this will get old and I'll stop, I promise. Let's look at the reveal cards. It says in the deck description. You want me to read? Okay, it's only one paragraph. Went 3-1, beating PD, Outfit, and Ismari, but losing to Wiki's top 8. That makes sense, right? Like PD, good matchup. Outfit, good matchup. Asmari, depends what they're doing, but probably good matchup. And then like Hyper Glacier, played by Wiki nonetheless. That seems like a tricky matchup. So that like tracks. Like if the meta was like PD, Outfit, and then insert fourth corp there, like you'd probably be in a really good spot playing this, and still like Izzy plays this one well. It's in the description. Okay, all right. They can stop. No, never. All right, let's look at the reveal cards. We're doing this, unfortunately. Both Asmari with the same list, just couldn't get traction between Wiki, but had a better start the other game. Right on. Okay. Outfit's not a good matchup. Am I crazy? Wayland to Outfit actually favors Wayland pretty well. I think classically from the numbers, like looking at last season, I know when Jeff was looking at the numbers, and it's not so much like diversion of funds does anything. It's the idea that with Boomerang, you're in a really good spot. Bad publicity means you can run really cheaply, but Boomerang means that you can deal with a lot of the ice relatively well. You want to be running anyways, so if they get to 3 bad publicity, all you basically do is let them get to 2 bad publicity, charge to twinning, swipe HQ, and then just lock centrals. It is actually a really reasonable matchup, if not a good matchup. I'd rather play Criminal to Outfit than Outfit. Outfit's a mid matchup, depends on their draw. Outfit depend on their draw. It's just like what Outfit is in every single damn matchup. Like they can win on like 5 turns if they're really, really lucky. But I honestly don't mind it. Especially because you have good multi-axis, and Boomerang is what you need to face check into stuff. Just don't install breakers. Install an Amakua maybe. Depends on what the outfit build is. I'm thinking more of like big deal stuff. I think even into like this is the matchup I was grinding into our CO last month. I was teaching my partner how to like replay Netrunner because she hasn't played in a while. We were playing Sable into Lady Killer, and the Sable matchup was like really, really good. Flip switch, yeah, flip switch is sick too. I guess my meta is Santa and ultimately Outfit head. It's basically instant lose unless you're in clock recursion. That dude outfits. Yeah, Santa does play like fast events, heavy fast events, outfit with like big deal and stuff. I don't know. Hey Gunny, I keep trying to start playing, but I understand how to play and build a corp deck. I understand the rules, but I don't get how to make it work. Any suggestions or resources? Gunny, how's it going? I think the easiest resource is to get onto green level clearance, tag a mentor, and ask someone to play alongside you, not against you easily, but sometimes onside you. It's actually the easiest way to learn the game is to play corporation, and then someone can talk through you. Playing corporation. So I just want to see if I understand this. I do understand corporation. I understand rules that don't kind of make it work. Okay, so if you're not understanding how to make a corporation work, I think corporation is the harder one to play because it involves, trying to understand what the runner is going to do. And it's hard to accidentally win as a corporation where you can, for better or for worse, accidentally win as a runner. In terms of resources, we have some stuff up on the channel that goes through like fundamentals of game stuff. Scroll down to the bottom a bit. Like this, like fundamentals is a good thing to look at. This focuses on both corp and runner play. And it's about like sequencing your turn, understanding that you have windows. A really important thing with corp play too that gets undersung is placing your ice in places that make sense, especially if you're playing like system gateway. If you place your ice in places that don't make sense, it's really hard to win if you don't get your good ice on the remote server and you're taxing but porous ice on central servers. If you don't know what those words mean specifically, please follow up because that is an important idea. I would start there, but getting into green level clearance and asking someone who will basically not only spar against you but spar with you is super important. Don't build your own decks at the beginning. It's super complicated. Yeah, Haladri, that's a really good point. I should open with that. And this feels like people hate this feedback. They genuinely don't like this feedback because they want to play a card game and they want to like, build their own decks. But I would highly, highly, highly recommend that if you are going to want to play Netrunner, go net deck something and net deck a deck that people recommend as like a consistent learn to play deck. So this is Nathas No Moons. Is it Mun or Moon? Mun. I don't know how to say that. I've been saying Mun. Undefeated 10th CBI, and this is basically just like every other HB Glacier deck with a bit of spice. This is not to poo-poo the deck. This is a great deck. But this sort of deck ideally is put together with good amount of the right stuff that you want. It has an agenda suite that makes sense for the deck, that scores to 7 easily. It has good economy, it has reasonable card draw, it has the right distribution of ice, and it has an actual win condition. This game is so hard on its own that to start to rock up to this game, play a deck, and you can't tell if you're losing the game because your deck is bad or because your play is bad. And there's probably as a newer player, it's a combination of both, which is why you really want to go out the way and play a good deck to make sure that you can focus on playing the game as opposed to trying to make a bad deck work, which is really hard even for the most experienced players. On that too, like just fundamentally getting reps in with a good deck will also make you a better deck builder, because you'll realize that you find yourself in situations in which the deck encourages you to do things. You find yourself not in a lot of situations where you're clicking to draw, clicking for credit, and doing these actions, which are always available and sometimes correct, but not often the correct thing. And so like the more that you entrench yourself and surround yourself with the safety net that pushes you towards your goal, the easier it is for you to both play the game well, understand what a good deck is, and become a better player. Windows, that's a concept that everyone talks about that goes completely over my head. Okay, real quick, scoring window. The idea is that on any given turn, the runner can only do so much. Say that we have a remote server. The remote server has a big old brand on it. Don't read the text. Just imagine a really big barrier that's very expensive to break, and the runner doesn't have a way to break the barrier. And then in front of it is a big old code gate we haven't rezzed. And the runner could break this, but it would be very expensive. If the runner's on 2 credits, they probably can't get into the remote server because that involves them getting through the gatekeeper somehow, finding a breaker, breaking it, getting through the big expensive ice for somehow and breaking that, and they can't do that. So a lot of times as a corporation, you need to look at your opponent and have an understanding of what they are capable of doing. Can they get into the remote server next turn? If they have 1 to 2 credits, the answer is probably not. If they don't have the icebreaker, if they don't have the money, and people use this as a term as a scoring window. It's a bit of a metaphor. It's a bit of a nice poetic metaphor, but imagine, you know, something opens up that you see like, oh wait, I have a chance here. I have a chance I can put an agenda to the remote server, because in theory, if the runner has enough money and it has enough breakers, they can always get into the remote server, but for the next turn, they can't because they overspent, because they had to do something last turn, or they mismanaged their economy, or they haven't found their breakers in time. That is a big thing, is understanding what a window looks like. And that's cool. A big thing about Windows 2 and Netrunner is generating a scoring window. This is the next step, but this is why it's really important to have things to put in remote servers so the runners are considering to run and constantly forced to spend time and money, because eventually they'll find themselves in a spot where they've overspent time and overspent money, and you've made a scoring window, which is also really cool. My wife and I taught ourselves how to play by just watching the stream and then playing the deck we watched. William, what? For real? You had to play Epiphany? That's really cute though, and also the fact that that works is wild. That's really, really cool. Either's fine. I say short you. That's Mun. Okay, cool. Thank you. Appreciate it. I had a dream of outfit with 3x super deep borehole and 3x pivot, 3x oppo speedrun reliable bad pub for FA, and then tag punishment when they trash the borehole. It's weird that you said dream, not nightmare, but that's cool. I totally get it now. Thank you so much. At any point in time, if you have a question, you can ask it, and we're excited to answer it. And not only I am excited to answer, everyone in chat is. So please, at any point in time. Scoring windows are a really important thing of the corp, because there are times where you say, remote server looks good, go put an agenda in it. And it's also very important, okay, we're going way deep in the layers here, to understand that sometimes you don't have a scoring window and it's still okay to jam an agenda. Because sometimes the runner won't run it, but if the runner does run it and steals your agenda, as long as they don't win the game, there's a chance that the money that they spent on that will generate a safe scoring window on the following turn, because they just spent their whole turn and 8 credits to get in to steal your 2-pointer. Phenomenal. Then next turn you can jam an even better 2-pointer, right? Like, just keep that in mind too. Losing agenda sometimes is right. Sometimes you have to make your next thing. I'm excited to steal this for my always next video of getting started in Netrunner. Yeah, me too. There's always that next video we're making. On that note, 2 things. Firstly, I'm gonna open up this because Jeff, I always forget about this when it comes up. Second thing, congratulations on the tournament, running the tournament, helping with that. Third thing, the next video that I'm working on that hopefully will be up next week. So if you don't know, NSG announced that Ashes Remastered Edition update is coming out soon. If you don't know, Ashes is being reprinted with a different card back, slightly different formatting to modernize it, because at some point in the history of NSG, the card back of Netrunner cards has changed. It no longer says Nisei on it, it just has the Netrunner N and is moved up. So technically if you play with clear sleeves, that's a problem. For the majority of people that play in organized play, at all organized play, you need opaque sleeves, so it's not a huge issue, but it's now a thing that you can order, and I wonder how many people will order it. I want to make a video where we go through all of Ashes and basically remaster it ourselves, but basically, you know, saying that with, what is it? It's like nearly 6 years of foresight, how you would change the cards to make them you know, whatever we think makes good Netrunner, which I think is a fun project, and we'll put that video up. It's not a serious thing. We've not playtested anything, but just a nice way to go through Ashes to talk about, like, this sounds like it comes from a place of negativity. I don't mean it at all. I think Ashes is a very important set, but to be like, with 5 years of hindsight, there's a bunch of cards we don't play. What could we do? Now, the reason I bring this up is I can't answer this. I don't know what to do with Rizeki. This is the only card in the whole pack that I don't know how to change this to make this an acceptable Netrunner card modernly. This card, mind you, is banned. It has very little text on it, but I do know what I can do to make minor changes to Rizeki to make it an acceptable card in the standard format. This is the only thing that the video gets stuck. 4 influence, 3 cost. Influence has to go up. I think 4 influence to 3 cost is still not good. Like, I just don't think this should exist on a card no matter how expensive it is. 2MU, the thing is, like, I don't even like 2MU because my favorite thing with Netrunner is honestly having more MU so people can play more cards. Like, if this is 2MU, make it a Trojan. Genuinely make it a Trojan is sick. Make it a Trojan is kind of cool. 3 influence 2MU. Like, I just don't like the 2MU thing because if it's good, that means that decks, like, this is the problem that we had with Rizeki, is that Rizeki, people just started to play 3 breakers, 2 Rizekis, and then people didn't participate with the interesting programs because all other programs were worse than Rizeki. At 2MU, I don't know if this would be a competitive card, but like, it puts us into a case where most rigs might just be like 3 breakers and 1 Rizeki, and that sucks. But Trojan is hella spicy. Trash after 6 turns, a lot of bookkeeping then, and then just becomes like worst daily cast, right? I think Trojans is like the sickest answer so far. Because then the corporation can't trash it. I would actually make it cheaper. I'd make it a cost 1 to make it a Trojan. That's really cool. Unique doesn't really change much. Frieden, how's it going? Because you still just play 3 in your deck just so you can mulligan 1. Right, like it lowers the level of 2 Rizeki, but you'd still be in a problem. Like, the game would still be an issue where if you get this turn 1, it's like a 12 to 14 credit econ card, and you want to avoid that. But Trojan's the cool thing that gives corporations a way to counterplay without it feeling like a pad tap. I think that's neat. That's a really good answer. Cool, Ryan. Okay, before we get to the deck building, one thing I want to show off. I wanted to show off this before. I've shown it to Jeff before, and I know he likes it too. And I wish this was something that the folks at Null Signal Games could do. This is Doomtown DB. Doomtown is a card game that I don't play a lot of. I play it pretty casually. I have some of the old starter decks. I think it's really, really good. Trash One Purge? I don't know. I don't like Trash One Purge. Now it's a worse for Zeki, right? How's it going, Johnny, by the way? So, one thing they do, this is not a very well-trafficked site because Doomtown isn't that popular of a card game, but if you go to the reviews tab, which exists on most of the things, you'll notice that there's these like reviews that are always about the same length. And the ones I want to focus on are mostly by Rich Carter. I don't know what Rich Carter's title is exactly, but Rich Carter is on the Pine Box team. And basically after a set is released, Rich Carter will go through and add a little bit of a snippet behind why a card exists, or something to do with the art, or something to do with the intention of the design. So this is a 6 of Heart that is a hex that allows you to get better while doing shootouts, which is a poker game in Doomtown. Doomtown's a really cool game. This seems like more like a miracle than a hex. Yes, I know, because miracles generally buff. Well, this does seem like a miracle, it's not. But in a role-playing game, Kentucky Windage is a hex to enhance the huckster shooting. Okay, so mind you, there is a giant RPG attached to the whole Doomtown world. And then there are a number of hucksters that tease with low stud values and middling draw values. This hex will allow them to step up into role of a shooter. I love this. It's like 2.5 sentences that explains why the designers made their card, what their intention was, and what they were trying to rectify. And there's just like, you can go through it, and they basically mention all of these to describe this, like this insight into why the designers are doing what they do and what they think about their own cards and what they think about the game. I think is so absolutely fascinating. This Fred likes the magical doodads, which supports the mystical goods theme of the Fearmongers, and most of the mystical goods are cheap. Cheaper still would buy you Vermilion Railroad. Booting an attached mystical good is not a big cost, but just knowing the next card is not the big enough effect unless you make it worth it. A lot of the other ones say like there was specifically a problem in the meta we had to deal with, or like in design we originally started with this, but then this turned out to be bad, so we fixed it with this. Or like we thought in the game there was a hole where we wanted like a very powerful heart that gave you this, but on a 4 value. I love this sort of stuff. I wish we saw more of this. I think right now it's because we're in a quiet time, but like the Null Signal Station podcast, specifically when a new set is coming out, we get more insight on what's going behind the scenes in terms of the design side of the NSG stuff, as opposed to all the other cool stuff NSG does. And I miss this sort of stuff. But this thing is really cool. I wish we could see more of this. Virus and Purge, but that's just bad tap. Yeah, Virus and Purge just makes it bad tap or bad fermenter. The Doomtown stream you did with Maddie was so fun. It was a lot of fun. That game's good. I'm a bit embarrassed with that stream. I said it before. I know I'm cursed like an absolute sailor in that one for some reason. But yeah, game's good. I don't play enough of it. It's hard to get the content in Canada though. They don't ship well. Tron, how's it going by the way? It sounds like it's a bad idea while fermenter exists and you can just purge viruses to raise either econ option. Yeah, it's just become like shaper fermenter, unfortunately. And like, I hope if you suggest an idea and I say it's not a good idea, that doesn't make you feel bad. Like, it's important we talk about the ideas. I don't want to be like, bad idea. What are you doing? It's just like, yeah, I would see the issue with that. It's just another fermenter. And you kind of want to do something different, I reckon. Yeah. Okay. So at least for the next little bit, we're going to try out some, never remember the name of it. It's not Isowak, it's Hyoubu. Hyoubu is, you can't see the ID there. That's not a great spot for it to be. But it's an ID that lets you get some money when you reveal cards. Not a lot of payoffs for this. I just want to take a second to reevaluate what the reveal cards are. So we're going to search every card in standard that has the word reveal on it, because there's a bunch of times, and this is only first time, mind you, not whenever, in which when we reveal a card, we get some sort of value. Now this text here, you can spend a click to reveal a card from the grip or the top of the stack. It's technically a lot better sometimes to see the top of the stack because you know it's always going to be a new card if they haven't drawn. You could always see the same card from the grip. There's still some reason why you want to see the grip, but if you're clicking for a credit, this is kind of like built to last. You might as well hit this button if you haven't revealed the card so far, because it's strictly better than clicking for a credit because you get some sort of information. The question is how you can play around that information. We'll get to that into a second once we look at all the reveal cards. But my thesis is that there's going to be two cards that we're going to try and build around because I think they're abstractly somewhat powerful in a vacuum if you don't consider it too critically. The first one is the original threat card, which is called Complete Image. Yo, Trillion, how's it going? NTK puts a lot of theme into their cards. I've recently discovered the Hermes, the fashion dorkiness of Merc, is a reference to the high fashion brand Hermes. Oh, super cool. Yeah, there's a lot of, like, that's the thing is there's so many references to card stuff that is not going to be released to the public, right? So this comes up in conversations. I recently responded to a YouTube comment. Adrian Sayas, from my understanding, this has to do with, what's it called? Cyber 6. This is the name. So I'm not too familiar with Cyber 6. A lot of people know this and love the show. It had a very weird limited release. It was like in Canada and Japan, and I think Brazil. It's based on an Argentine comic. But the main character is a gynoid whose alter ego they play as a man who's a teacher, from my understanding, named Adrian Seidelman. And this is meant to be a reference to that. Mind you, Sayas is 6 in Portuguese and largely in Spanish as well. And Adrian's the name here. And so there's a whole bunch of references across the cards to like a lot of things that people might not know, whether it's like certain anime. Sometimes the references are like really on the nose, for better or for worse. So like, what are the what's it called? They're called the inline skates. That's how you inline. Airblades, like Airblades JSRF. Yeah, that stands for Jet Set Radio Future, which if you're not, I assume it's all anime. But yeah, if you're not familiar with Jet Set Radio Future, is an old, I think started on the what's it called, on the Dreamcast, if I'm not mistaken. But this like cyberpunk-esque, colorful graffiti inline game. The inlines actually are powered by a thing called Netrunner, which just sounds enough like Netrunner. It's funny, but there's just like so many references here that are not going to be directly called out unless you find them yourselves. And I would love for the designers at some point, maybe later on, to like start pointing some of them out that we missed, which is cool. I still want to crack the Faust Audrey connection. I don't know what the exact connection is. Audrey, mind you, Seymour, that is from what's called the Little Shop of Horrors, the plant that requires blood to sustain itself. I don't know if there's exactly a Faust correlation besides like the fact that there's a smiling head. Was there a claim to be a direct connection here? Closed my eyes, low hum of the data stream lulling me into a trance. When I opened them, the construct stood before me in the shape of a man, clad in light of many colors. His stature was impressive, and saccharine voice wormed its way into my very soul. I'm not actually sure what the Faust story is besides a deal from the devil. I think that's Proust. I'm not sure how to say it. It's okay. I'm not embarrassed. It's going well, JM. How you doing? Sayas also means stop and finish, but I think that's just a funny incidental thing. Oh, that's really cool. Excuse me, it's Hermes. It's French. Oh, sorry, is he? Public Health Portal federal fundraising is kind of fun. Matt, how's it going? Yes, we're going to look at them. I think Public Health Portal, we're going to try. I don't think the numbers on it are good, but we're definitely going to try it. I think federal fundraising might be a bridge too far. If you relate the top of the stack, does it also benefit the runner? Oh, wait, do we reveal it? I don't think we reveal it to both players. Wait, do we reveal it to both players? Is this what it's going to take for Hyoubu? Oh my God, we reveal the card of the top card of the stack to them too? It's that bad? Holy shit, it's that bad. I thought we just looked at it. Oh God, what are we doing? Oh, I'll see you guys on Thursday. How does it get worse? Oh, that's so bad. Always has been. Seamer's willingness to feed Audrey human bodies could be seen as similar as a Faustian bargain. They both require traction cards. Yes, 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 yes. Oh man, they really printed this card? No joke. If you want to know what younger Andre thinks, this was one of the original, like this was the first ever NSG spoiler card that we got on the channel. I don't even, okay, I'll be honest. I try not to be hype about things I'm not hyped about. You tell me if you watch this later. I don't want to watch it live because I might cringe, but I don't know if I was like super stoked. Yeah, you see, like we got 3 cards to reveal. I don't know how stoked I was to, sorry, we have to watch an ad. We're not going to watch it.
The idea of having
let it play out.
One stream of income just didn't sit well with me.
But even then, I was like, there sure is a lot of reveal things.
I run Double
I don't
Press,
know.
a print
For what it's
design
worth, if you're
studio
just tuning in, this ability has
specializing
never
in
been
recent
relevant
growth, print,
competitively.
branding, and web design.
Watching ads to watch your own videos?
Running a
Lame?
multi-revenue stream
Arguably illegal.
business is something I've always aimed to do. So
Sound on
I
in the
chose
background.
Wix
Oh, you can hear that?
for my business because of its...
Oh, you can. Sorry about that. I had no idea. That was probably really loud. Anyways, we can hear the ad loudly. Fantastic. Oh, look at that young boy. So I don't know how excited I was about this. I probably wasn't. The other cards were a bit more interesting, but yeah, this was one of our original spoiler cards back in the day. And since then, this card has done nothing. I'm not surprised about that, but okay. Anyways, we'll get back on the reveal train. I am really bummed out by that. Ad audio still on stream. Yeah, that's because we changed the audio routing because of the CBI. Sorry about that. It's fixed now. Yeah, I got it. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for letting me know. Was it Lakshmi that went infinite? They didn't limit it to once per turn? Oh, yeah. So this, like, the first time each turn you reveal a card, mind you, what was also really wild is within that set, was vibing to the beat, is that there was a bunch of other cards that, like, were not once per turn that had these sort of economic corp abilities. Mind you, that is largely a criticism about Ashes, is so much of Ashes is this, like, sort of attritional value over time stuff that just generates credits. Was I understanding that Peasant Town was a Metropole Grid spoiler? Yeah, it is. And I'm absolutely want to destroy it now. We begin to hate what we've created. Yeah, so this is a whenever a turn ability, right? And then this wasn't. This was a first time a turn ability, and it was also attached to a much weaker clause. And the question is why? I think arguably, yeah, that is worth shouting out. There was a card back in the day that was actually pretty good called Lakshmi Smart Fabrics that had a fast paid ability window that says you could spend X host to power counters, so you could technically say 0, reveal an agenda worth X points from HQ. The runner cannot steal copies of that agenda for the remainder of that turn. So the thing is, if you had a 0-point agenda, which they did exist, what is the one called, the 2-0? It has a Japanese name. The reveal is that there's no new information. Man, if they banned Lakshmi to allow Hyoubu to be whenever, I've been pissed. Yes, me too. I think Lakshmi was like such a cool card. No, not stand-up, because it has to be in Jinteki, right? Project Kusanagi, thank you. That's the one. So Project Kusanagi was a 0 thing. So you could just reveal this an infinite period of time. And so if this thing said whenever on it, you would get a lot of money. Can't do that. So now this said first time, or I don't know if that was the design intention. It's good that it existed like that, because otherwise we would have an infinite, which would have been a problem. But yeah, this is first time. And even on top of that, the reveal cards, it's also really unfortunate because there was one really good reveal card at the time. And for this being a once per turn ability, okay, hold on. Whole history lesson 2. It is very much worth noting at the time in the game, Plana Foods was still legal. Plana Foods has always been the sort of like comfort Jinteki ability that was just an economic ability that gave you money largely regardless of what you did. So there was always like this want for an ability that was just a comfort food, pun intended, that you could play just whatever you wanted and you get money. The first time each turn the runner draws a card gains a credit. Now, runners can play around that, and they did. So some turns you didn't get a credit, but very consistently you get a credit a turn. So it was very hard to print an ability like this that sometimes got a credit a turn. Mind you, you got the credit more consistently on your turn sometimes. But it was already a really uphill fight. And then on top of that, this just wasn't worth playing over Polana because I have a half decent Hyoubu deck list. I'd be interested to see it. Infinite credits, you say? In standard. Andre, I regret to say I've been playing a lot of Kakarambo lately because it's really fun to score a hyper release with it in Atea especially. Sanjay, you gotta be the change you want to see. Is it worth it? You want to make people no take so hard. That combo might have been found too late in testing to change the ID. Who knows? Yeah, it's hard to say. Maybe NSG would say whether they've realized that sooner than later. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But if that was the case, something would have to change here because you cannot get infinite. I have this worrying sense when I'm 90, I'll be able to tell you the text on Project Kusanagi, but not like what I did in my 30s. Yeah, me too, man. Me too. The amount of information that like is kept in our heads about like niche Netrunner cards and interactions compared to like, I don't know. I barely know who the prime minister is some days. All right, let's talk about the good cards. Complete image. This is the original threat card. This is really cool. So play only if the runner has 3 or more agenda points. Yo, can they reprint this in Ashes with threat 3? Jeff, I need you to talk to someone really quickly. Can you do that? And then like, don't explain what threat is on the insert. Just say for more and then have a purchase link to the next set. It is the best marketing idea. I will take a cut of the sales. But in short, just make it say threat 3 or make an alter that says threat 3. Sorry. Name a card, then do 1 net damage. If you trash a copy of the named card, repeat this process. All right, this can be lethal. As long as an agenda has been scored, it can be lethal. The question is how many cards in hand do they have to have, and you need to know the name of the cards that they have in hand. Imagine you knew every card they have in hand because they have 3 cards in hand, and you know every card they have in hand for some divine intervention. If that's the case, you have to win a 1 in 3, then you have to hit a 1 in 2. So your win rate there is 16%. 16% of the time, you win all the time. Now, even if they have 2 cards in hand, it is a 50% win rate. Having a card that is a 50% win rate when they have 1 card in hand is genuinely interesting, as much as you don't see this across standard. This, again, history lesson aside, was also very unfortunate because Hyoubu was like the candidate complete image went with, but it was also the candidate, it was like the least likely deck, or it was not the first deck that wanted to play complete image because back in the day, oh, he's going to say this and not remember the name, Kronos Protocol was a Jinteki card. That said, it was a legal ID at the time, if I'm not mistaken. It says the first net damage the runner suffers each turn, you may look at their grip and select the card that was trashed. So, Complete Image was a Kronos Protocol card. It wasn't even a Hyoubu card. Gaining 1 credit when you play Complete Image, because you don't actually reveal cards, so that doesn't work. But the idea is that if you kept revealing cards with Hyoubu and you made some money during the time, that a Complete Image would be like more. But at the end of the day, with Complete Image, you would just see their whole damn hand. And not only see their whole damn hand, you can make sure the first net damage connects. Which means if they had 3 cards in hand, the Complete Image goes from a 16% win rate to a 50% win rate. Because the first damage always connects, and then you know every single card. So as long as you knew 1 card, the 3 card hand size was a 50% lethal. And so there's a whole bunch of decks that pursued that, which is why, again, we almost never saw Complete Image inside Hyoubu because there was just another better deck to do it in. Which is not an uphill. That's not good. Technically not threat 3 would be a big errata. Oh, threat 3 plus this. You just add that down there. You put threat 3. You can make it work. You could make it work if you really wanted to. Because it would work if the Corbett scored too. That would be the power that you, okay. That is very true. I can't refute that. But are we also trying not to buff this card? Is that what we're saying? We're saying that this card's in a good spot and we don't want to help it, even though we could. I know it's not the same, but it's fine. The chance of this killing is really mid. Yeah, I know. We're going to try it. The other card that I'm actually think is like kind of okay, but it's not really, is Focus Group. Functional buff to still unplayable? Hell yeah, but less text. It's cool when a card with little text is unplayable. What's suggesting is a new card? Hold on. No. I take offense. It would have the same name. It would have the same icon. Threat 3, you can play this if the runner has 3 points. Yeah. Oh man, that's so much better. I do think threat 3 is fine-ish, though I'd probably make it threat 4. I would not make it threat 4. How are you gonna... What? Vera Ivanova, Shuskaya? Yeah, Vera kind of works, but Vera doesn't let you... Vera lets you look at the hand, right? She's also 4 influence. She's 4 influence. Why would you... Something's wrong. Make it unorthodox? That's a good subtype. I was building a deck and came across a card I've literally never seen before that is currently legal, Watchtower. Hats off to anyone who can name what it does without referencing it. It's a 3 strength. No, it's 4 res, 3 strength code gate. It's Wayland. It's probably like 2 influence. It didn't used to say May. It did says May. The subroutine is you may search your deck for a card, add it to hand, shuffle. Let's go. I think that's right. They had to errata it to make it an optional ability. Yeah, search R&D for card, add it to HQ, shuffle R&D. They didn't errata it. Oh, I thought they errated it. Because the problem with this is it's not a May clause. And that was the big issue with Watchtower, is that it used to be, it doesn't say May. So if you put this on R&D or HQ, you can run through it and the corp has to shuffle their deck so you can run R&D and see a new card. So frustrating, right? And there were so many weird cards like this that like around this sort of time, right? Like peak red sand, is that there was cards that just fundamentally didn't understand optionality in a way that's like super, super important, right? Like what is it, next opal or next sapphire? Right? Next opal gains, don't look at this text, look at this text. Next opal gains, install 1 card from HQ paying all costs. That's not optional. That's not optional. You have to install a card. So you have an agenda, it has to go on the table. How do you prove it's not optional? Call a judge. I don't have installables, right? Like this design was, the red sand cycle was really bad in terms of formatting. And like, I just think the wrong PDF went to the printer. That's not a joke. There's just a lot of typos, like something went wrong. And then NSG, let alone, I do think, I'm not sure if FFG errated it, but now it says you may install 1 card, which is not only super important because this card is unplayable because it forces you to like vomit agendas on the table, but now you don't have to have a judge come over when the subroutine fails to resolve. Oof. Anyways, yeah, Watchtower. I do care about that card, so it's an important card. Sync Fury until the end of time. They fixed it. We've lost friends to that. This is when installing Oppo becomes legal. You still have to legally be able to install it. Honestly, there are plenty of decks that don't totally mind the downside if you get a secret tutoring. It's not the worst part of the card. I honestly think Watchtower is like not a terrible card. If it said May, it would be playable, and if the numbers flipped. If it was 3 to res, 4 strength, Watchtower would have been a marginally playable card. Mind you, Wayland decks back in the day, their Ice Suite wasn't amazing. Mouseless probably had been out by now. I think Mouseless was also Red Sands. Oh no, Mouseless was the one before it. But this was like the only good code gate that Wayland had forever. Before that, like the code gate slot in Wayland was like Enigma. Hordem was okay. But if this was 3-4, you would actually play it in like outfit decks. You would consider it. But 4-3 is really, really bad. And not optional is really, really bad. Strength 3 with Yogg Blortran was so bad. Yeah, if it was 4 strength, it would still be pretty bad to Black Orchestra, if I'm not mistaken. 5 strength would have been sick. This is going to take me to another tangent that unfortunately a fair bit of the power, maybe it's kind of like the endurance thing where like endurance was a very powerful card. So it lowered the power value arguably of Captain Padma. Is that similarly, we used to have a busted reveal card called Engram Flush. And this was like, it was 1 influence. It was everywhere. The numbers on this make no sense. Very, very important subroutines. It reveals the runner's grip. So you made money. It was 5 strength, 2 to res, 1 influence. This card was just everywhere. And it basically made face checking untenable. Because as a corporation deck, or sorry, as a runner deck, if you ran into this on turn 1 and you just lost 2 breakers, as a criminal, the game is over. And corporations with res is on any board state because it's 2 to res, 5 strength, 1 influence. And to me, this sucks too, because it was one of the most powerful reveal cards. And just like, it must have had some implication on the balance of Hyoubu, we'd have to like assume, right? Like, it's kind of like, again, the endurance to Padma. Without endurance, would Padma be a stronger ability? Yeah, probably. And unfortunately, Engram Flush has been banned. Very fortunately, actually, Engram Flush has been banned for a really, really, really long time. There was like 2 really good reveal ice. Engram Flush, which was an absurd bonkers reveal card, and then there was Slot Machine, which was very similarly a bonkers reveal card. 3 to res, slightly more, 5 strength, 1 influence. Those numbers are wild. Almost no matter what the ice does, those are just wild numbers. 3-5, 1 influence, 2-5, 1 influence. And then the subroutines on this card, mind you, is super, super, super fun, but it is just kind of a busted card. When the runner encounters this ice, they put the top card of their stack on the bottom of the card, then you reveal the top 3. So just free Hyoubu once per turn. The runner loses 3 credits. So inherently, without any breakers, the runner's going to go through this for 3 credits for an Ice Res for 3 credits. Totally fine trade. You get information about their deck, they gain information about their deck too, but there's other subroutines. If you reveal 2 or more cards that share a same type when this encounter began, what? That's really weird wording, but okay. You gain 3 credits. So not inconsistent part of the time, you made your money back and the runner lost 3 credits. And then if you got the jackpot, which is super rare, you put 3 advancements on a card. Never mattered really. If it fired, it kind of was sick, but it usually you didn't build around that. But like, yeah, at the time that Hyoubu was out, there was 2 of the best reveal cards ever in the history of the game. They were both banned for being auto reses, basically free influence. This was also the sort of ice that Jinteki mid-range needed to exist because it was cheap and taxing. Jinteki doesn't really have ice that's cheap and taxing anymore. It hasn't for a long time, and all that stuff is gone. So Hyoubu's even further behind. Magnum Opus Cycle was a mistake, not gonna lie. I don't think it was a mistake. It was probably a bit under-tested because it had to come up pretty quickly. But the Magnum Opus set actually has some of the most interesting and I think exciting cards. It's almost always extremes though. Like Labor was, I wouldn't say, is it banned at some point? It was restricted. Crowdfunding is a bit much. Embolus was technically a toxic card, but it's fine. Slot Machine is fine. Border Control, I'm so happy Border Control exists in the game. And TPR is whatever. Taya can have fun stuff. I don't think it's a mistake. I think it's cool. I think there's worse sets. There's sets that have a more problematic percentage of cards in it, I think. I want Border Control to be core. Yeah, I do want Border Control to be core. I think Border Control is such a sick card. I would put Border Control in the core set. I honestly would. People used to like want to have Border Control banned so heavily. It was on like everyone's like, ban this card. This is no fair. Your ice ends the run. Makes the game fun. It makes the game really cool. I think the phrasing on the original card involved sentences that didn't clearly reference a specific thing. Yeah, whenever you read card text like that, it's obvious that like somebody who is more rules clued in saw that the original wording is bad. It's like Sundew all over again. It's like the wording here sucks, but it has to be like that. Let me catch up on chat. The people who miss Ashes startup gestures. Yeah, I know. That was a big problem with Ashes too. It had all that stuff in it. Engram, Gold Farmer, yeah. If Engram had a single sub, everything else the same, do you think it would be more balanced? It would be more balanced, but I don't think it would be balanced. This is a hard one to fix. I think for Engram to be playable, it would have to be like 3 influence, 4 cost. You have to double the cost. You have to come into situations where a corporation would consider not resing it. Right? Like, I think that's the only way they make Engram. You basically have to make Engram not a slap res. Like a snap res, excuse me. Because there's almost no board state where resing Engram is long unless you make it kind of expensive. And 4/5 is a reasonable slot for this. Like 4/5 makes it like a Messna Chesvo. I know it doesn't end the run, but those are relevant subroutines. Yeah. Arguably Engram Flush Oshel. Yeah. Choose a card type. Yeah. No, I think you really have to make it way more expensive. And I don't think it should be 1 influence. Maybe you bring the price up, it's fine. But I also don't like cards like this. Like cards that can just rip important things out of your hand. Being low influence. It's like imagine Saisentan was 1 influence. Obviously Saisentan is different because it can just kill the runner. But it's good that cards that like you can just put this for no reason in your Asmari deck and someone face checks into it and loses the game. At least you pay influence for that privilege. Right? Like I don't like the design that face check can die. But like if the worst punishments were 1 influence, like if snare was 0 influence, you know what I mean? Like the game is totally different. How's this 2 credits to res? It's a good question. Completely unhinged? Yeah. We wanted something relevant for reveal. It was exciting when this came out. It was like cool. This also was a card that wasn't in like this is if I might be making this up, but I don't think I am. So citation needed. This card wasn't in spoilers week. This card was not spoiled by the community. This card secretly came out. And I don't think that means that anyone was hiding it. It just was like one of those cards that was like revealed on the reveal page on the final day when the set dropped. And then people were like, what? Like this wasn't the sort of card that they revealed like 2 weeks in to be like, you want to see something cool and powerful? It just like quietly came out alongside like the other 12.5 cards that weren't announced previously during spoiler season. And like, I'm not saying that they were hiding it. It's just like this came out and people were like, wait, what? Like it was so wild that without any fanfare, this card just existed one day. Super strange. Remaking Boarding Control with just 1 sub would boost Corroder Fractors different from Cleaver a lot. I really like cards in which there are subroutines that are consistently not broken. I think it's just good for the game. Obviously it changes the power level of the card. It also, like, subroutines like this are good for banner, right? Like, it's good to balance cards like that. It's good for Banhar, right? Like, I do kind of like this a fair bit. I would argue that if you want to bring the balance of this, you put the end the run before the gain of credit. That really lowers the power value of the card. But I think if you want to keep 2 subroutines on it, you just put this behind and then people can choose what to break. That drastically lowers the value of the card, but I do think value subroutines after end the run is not explored enough in Netrunner because it confuses people. Border Control almost seems like a representative card now for Wayland, for Glacier, and for Rush. It's such a flexible card. I think Border Control could be modified with an RFG or a trash cost. I honestly don't like... Ice with trash costs are real rough. I don't know. It's like the same with the complete image thing, right? Like, I think a lot of people maybe looked at complete image and be like, I'm going to die out of nowhere. We got to put a trash cost on there. And I don't know about that. Like, I kind of like the design more of Oppo. It's like, it's a very powerful card. It doesn't have a trash cost on it, and that's fine. Like, you can still play around it. Arguably, it's hard to play around complete image in some ways. But when your key cards have trash costs on them, like, obviously it gives counterplay to players that don't have counterplay. It just, like, when you lose it, you lose so much, you almost don't have a game plan. And I kind of don't like that. And we saw a bunch of, like, middling ice with trash costs. Most of them didn't see play. And, like, them hitting R&D and then trashing your ice when you need ice on R&D, maybe it just feels bad. But I don't love trash cost on, like, the sort of things you don't expect trash costs to be. It gets wrecked by Hush, yeah. Ingram Flush is statted as if corps are only slightly interested in swatting the runner's best 2 cards out of their hand. I think people did like it, but I think the people that enjoyed were nearly all people returning to Netrunner post long break or new, so it was an opportunity to learn the game. In response to Axu's comment, which is, crowdfunding is so fun to play, completely messed up but fun. Yeah, crowdfunding is fun. It's a fun card, genuinely fun card. I think there should be more designs like that of cards that can come back after different conditions. Right? Like, immediately we're getting to the sort of, you know, companion problem in maybe Magic. But if you made 3 successful runs in a turn, would it be that bad if Dag could come out of your deck and hang out with you? I'd be okay with it. Like, obviously every game Dag would be on the table, but, like, you kind of want the catch to show up, right? I do like that clause. I do think tracking 3 successful runs is slightly more fiddly than it sounds, but you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot to do there. I love cheap high strike, low impact sub ice. Yes, I do like that. I do like that. Hey, Ilya, how's it going? I've been watching your VODs for a while, but this is your first time caught you live. Love your style. Thank you. How's it going? That's very kind. Welcome to the stream. Why can't Era Levy come back and require a 50 card deck and be a limit 1 per deck? I don't think we've seen a card that, like, changes your deck building. But in theory, like, the idea with Levy is that, I don't know. I think we want to move away from, like, grinding through your deck over and over again, and the idea that the runner has infinite resources the longer the game goes, right? Mind you, Levy is also in some ways slept on, because when you shuffle your deck back, your second deck is messed up good because you've installed all your hardware and programs. So it's just like a pile of value. I don't know. It's just, it's probably not good. It's a wild effect. Like, not a lot of card games have this sort of effect. Like, Netrunner is balanced around you running out of resources, and I think that's probably a good enough space to be. You can say what you want about labor rights, right? But, like, I think having a reset button is, like, I don't know. I also don't like 1 per decks, mind you. I generally don't like that balance. Ashes startup wasn't inherently good because of the card pool, but because the people were playing didn't know how to optimize the unfun stuff. I have no idea what the card name is referring to. Which one, Pete? And base Netrunner is a great game to people's remember Ashes started with fondness. Yeah, a lot of people were, like, getting into Netrunner with Ashes startup, or, like, we're trying it out for the first time, so it's good. What does Engram Flush? It's Engram is some part of the brain thing, and Flush is like a mind wipe. An Engram refers to enduring offline physical and chemical changes that were listed by learning and underlie the newly formed memory association. It's wiping the memory, which is why you just lose cards from hand. It's a really cool thematic card. I think the whole idea of Jinteki doing memory loss is so fascinating to me. I know when I was goofing around with some cards like Daniela, and I love this, like, a problem we have with Jinteki is when Jinteki is trying to do grinder and just running out of resources. But this sort of, like, untyped damage, which puts cards to the bottom of your stack, representing that as forgetting, is so cool in this sort of, like, Severance style, you know, mega corporation. If you've seen this to show Severance from on Apple. I really like that. Like, using forgetting as losing cards from hand as, like, technically a non-permanently destructive damage source, I think is fantastic. I know the mini set that I'm working on, hopefully I should get that out soon enough. Jinteki's working with weather, which I think is also really kind of fun and a different angle, but the whole memory loss thing, I think it's really, really cool. Engram Flush, flushing the memories out of your hand, literally. Look, Street Magic is legal in Eternal. The design fault is that you can run through this for free with no grip Komainu, but I don't think the designers realized how different two cards play in practice. Yeah, the idea is that Engram Flesh, if you have no hand, does nothing, but inherently, especially back then in Jinteki, running with no hand was the worst thing you could do. Hyoubu Precog Manifold having a trash cost is a bit unnecessary. At the time, all the lockdowns did. And it was meant to be a balancing thing, and it's obviously like... It's weird too, because like all the lockdowns had trash costs, but then the one relevant lockdown had a trash cost of 4, and like nobody was trashing next activation. Like the amount of times you've seen this trash is super, super countable. And then like the neutral one, which I think is the one that probably gets the most trashed because it is absurd, has a 2 trash cost. I don't know. It's hard to play around this. It's good that it has a trash cost because a lot of decks can't just deal with it. But like, yeah, I don't know about the cards you can trash. My response to, yeah, earlier, Ashes startup for sure. Missing my hater gods. Let me catch up on chat. We'll get back to deck building. I'm so sorry. I remember the first KOS where crowdfunding was legal. Everyone saw 3 runs and slotted APOC. Yeah, there's a lot of good reasons to play crowdfunding. Mind you, crowdfunding sees consistent play in Eternal. So clearly it's both powerful, but also a card that people want to play with, which is, there's some good value to that. I'm going to /summon Dag next time in a game with you if I make 3 successful runs at a serious tournament. Sanjay, I'll allow you to do it. It's totally fine. I'm starting to think crowdfunding is too weak for Eternal. I think it is. I think people want to play it, which shows you something cool about the card, right? Like if people play Eternal because they want to play their old cards, clearly they're missing something. Irving staying here? No, what do you mean? What does that mean? How's it going, by the way? Hopefully you're well. Hyoubu Manifold is a card that I assume is playable in the right context despite never having seen it in play. I think Hyoubu is becoming less and less necessary. Mind you, when Hyoubu came out, we were lacking the strong Jinteki defensive upgrade suite that we have now, right? Like we have access now to Anoetic and Adrian and Managarm. Back in the day, we had Hyoubu and then we had Lethea, right? So we didn't have good options. So Hyoubu was like the option if you wanted something to set up a server. And I think Hyoubu is good. Like Hyobu's single ice is often good enough. In fact, things like this are also quite powerful if we're in a meta where people are like relying on Boomerang, Botulus, Banhar, right? Like cheat effects don't really work into redundant runs. Obviously, it's not a sure thing, but this isn't weak to Pinhole. It isn't weak to Light the Fire. Like it's genuinely not the worst card. 4 trash cost is very reasonable. I think this card could see more play, but admittedly, there's less reason to play it now than maybe how it was underplayed before. Is the NAPD Cordon banned? No, not at all. NAPD Cordon is totally a fine card you can play. NAC was a correct trash in the boat meta. Yeah, well, yeah, but even then you didn't always see it. Z, what about crowdfunding but 4 successful runs? How's it going, Z? I don't like it. So, okay, like, hear me out. What is it called? The Collective? That's not here, right? This is the thing that I don't understand. Because Netrunner players are like, I feel like sometimes there's like a mismatch between excitement and then like what's actually fun. This is not an attack at UZ. But back in the day, we used to have, there was these tournaments, there was the Kronos Protocol and like the Plugged In Tour. And part of the participation prize, or you could vote on one of these 2 options to exist at a later printing in Netrunner. So one of them was in Europe, one of them was in America. I wasn't really playing back then, so I wasn't plugged in, pun intended. But I believe in North America, you could vote between Laramie Fisk, a character you might recognize from Artificial Crypto Crash. So the first time you make a successful run on a central server each turn, you may force the corp to draw 1 card. That's bad. And then the Collective, which has some weird numbers on it. Shaper, it's 55, deck size 5 influence. The heck? And then it says the first time you perform the same action 3 times in a row in a turn, gain 1 click. People were like, so Laramie won the vote, but like I still, people are kind of excited about the Collective. I love Williams Wu and all. That's a really good name. The art's fantastic. But this is what I don't get. It's like with running, it's different. But why would you be excited about an ability that forces you to do the same thing over and over again? Right? Like so many of the games back then, especially because this was an older meta, it would be like, all right, on my turn, I'm going to do Magnum Opus into Magnum Opus. And my 3rd click, I'll Magnum Opus, and then I'll do something. I just don't fundamentally understand why anybody was excited about doing the same thing 3 times. Obviously it's wage workers, but if the corp is different, maybe you do draw something like that could be interesting, I guess. But it's like this sort of thing is so restricting that it's less fun. So if you had to make 4 runs, I don't know. It feels like you're making less decisions. It'd obviously be a less powerful card. I don't know. Maybe I went too hard on that, but like, I just don't understand that. Like, people saw this and be like, oh, that's so cool. It'd be like, really? You want all your turns to be like mostly the same? That doesn't seem fun. Anyways, Shaper Design's been better than that. The collective not winning got us Haley, so we got the best timeline after all. 100% we got the best timeline after all. Haley is sick. For what it's worth, and like, it's really funny, is that a lot of Haley games, okay, I undersell it, because funny enough, we did come full circle and they printed a more interesting ID that did the same thing. So Haley Kaplan was like the best Shaper ID for such a long time. The first time you install a card each turn, you may install another card of the same type from your grip. So as long as you're installing one card and you have a big enough hand, you're installing 2 cards. If you install a card on the corporation turn, you can install 2 cards. So good. And it basically allows you to do whatever you want because most Shaper decks need it to install a bunch of stuff. But funny enough, the classic Haley turn was professional context, click 1, professional context, click 2, professional context, click 3, which is arguably what the collective was going to do more likely than Magnum Opus. And then you would Haley. You do Proco, Haley. I don't know. I think this card not winning got us Jeeves too. Maybe, I'm not sure. Sometimes the same thing 3 times is 3 basic play actions. Yeah, it's unlikely though. It's very unlikely to be play. It's usually draw, or Magnum, or Proco. It's unlikely to be much else. Play and install are different actions in the game. I was thinking about Arkham. Oh yeah, in Arkham, play a card and action is the same. It's the same thing, unfortunately, with Arkham. It's like the more 4-player Guardian you play, it's like, what do you want to do on your turn? I will hit something with a hammer. Then my second action, I'll hit the same thing with my hammer. On my third action, I'll hit something with a hammer. And it's like, is playing Guardian in Arkham fun? No. Collective seems more interesting than Fisk. Yes, but I'd rather play against Fisk because I think it'd be more exciting for both players. But yes, competitively, I think Collective is probably better. 55-5 though is pretty absurd. All right, we're back. We're back to deck building. We'll do anything to avoid playing Hyoubu, it turns out. In Arkham, you can use haste to play 2 assets in an event. Yes, I think so, yeah. Or the thing with haste too is like activation is considered a thing. So you can do like one card with a weird act, right? Like it's super flexible because using a card is ability. Okay, so hold on. There's a big difference with Netrunner and Arkham. In Netrunner with things like Wage Workers or Jeeves, it says if you do the same action exactly 3 times, so install a card is an action, play an operation is a different action. In Arkham, if you ever had a card like the Artist in Arkham, there are a bunch of cards in Arkham also that say like if you do the same thing 3 times, something cool happens. This click ability to do text in Arkham would count. If you did this once and then this once, that would actually count as doing 2 of the same things because you did an activate action. It's fundamentally very different, which is kind of wild. So you could do activate, gain 2, activate, install a program, activate another card, as long as it had like an arrow, which is their click action, and they would fire the Wage Workers in Arkham. Yeah, it's wild. The Guardian problem is also why I think playing Cho first ruined Guardians for me. Yep. Yeah, I agree. Cho's cool. Cho fixes all of that. So that you can just Sledgehammer with all 3 reactions. I've never played Sledgehammer. Oh, on that note, we're going into, I'm not going to spoil it, but we got the true ending of Forgotten Age. Playing against Fisk when you're Jinteki back then was rough. Hey, Kyle, Jinteki didn't have the money to play the cards you drew, or maybe that's just me. No, it could be hard. I was thinking about this in Eternal. Wait, what was I thinking of in Eternal? So there was unscheduled maintenance. Oh shit, I was thinking about doing something in Eternal recently that had unscheduled maintenance in it, and it didn't seem terrible. I think like Hermes unscheduled maintenance and then like fisking them and forcing them to draw is like not unreasonable. It's just in Eternal, most decks don't really care too much about it. But Mark is so fun and broken. Yeah, Mark is fun because you draw your whole deck 3 times. We're playing with a Mark. But like Tony, you can fall asleep at the wheel and Tony will get you there. Haley did that sometimes, but she also had the flexibility to install from your hand a card you need by installing a card using SMC or clone chip. Yeah, she kickflipped it. She kickflipped real hard. I like Haley a lot. I do like Haley a lot. On schedule maintenance after APOC. Okay, so check this out. This is Focus Group. It's another reveal card. It costs 3 credits. Play only if the runner made a successful run during their last turn. This is a frustrating clause. Choose a card type, then reveal the grip. You may pay X additional credits to place X advancement tokens on an installed card. X is equal to or less than the number of revealed cards of the chosen type. This potentially is a powerful card. because you can fast advance in theory a 5-3 from hand if their hand is like 4 of the same card type. Now that's not functionally going to happen, but if we know something about their hand, which we probably won't, this is a reasonable enough card. I was actually thinking of this in context of Ismari, because, you know, Ismari names events, and then a lot of like runners, not all of them, will like go ahead and hold all their events in their hand and then one turn play 3 events. So there is a chance that you could play Ismari focus group and then just like fast advance a 4-2 from hand. Inherently too, like this card kind of sucks because you have to commit to put the card on the table before you see the result of the action. Because like it's really easy on the minor case in which they have 2 of the same card to compare this to Biotic Labor. With Biotic Labor, you Biotic Labor, then you install the card, then you do triple advance. And very importantly, understand, if you want to Biotic Labor out of 3-2, it costs you 7 credits because it costs you 4 plus the 3 advancements. And Focus Group's actually cheaper because Focus Group, you pay 3. And then if you want to get 3 advancements on the card, it actually is 6 because you pay 1 per advancement. So it's even cheaper because you can get a click back depending on how many advancements you get on it. Some, don't worry about it too much. But that's not terrible. But unfortunately, you have to put the card on the table first and then you have to Focus Group. So it's neat. And this is another payoff if we know what's in their hand. And if they're playing around complete image to some extent, they might want to keep a good hand, a big hand. So we can keep them between 2 extremes where if they have a lot of cards in hand and we know what their cards in hand are, we'll look at the reveal cards. We can play Focus Group. And if they have a few cards in hand because they're playing around Focus Group, we can hit them with the complete image. That is the idea of the deck. It's not going to be very good. I don't think any of these cards are like consistent or powerful cards. This is not going to be a tier 1 deck, but we're going to explore with some cards. And I think inherently some part of this is going to be cogent. Unfortunately, probably the shell holding it together, that will fall apart because we don't have enough economy and stuff like that. Play this with Scarcity in tournament and it ruled. Oh, sick. Yeah, Scarcity is a really good thing there. Pete, unfortunately, there's no actual reveal. We're just playing Hyoubu. I realized I shouldn't have named the stream that because it seems like we have a big reveal here. We're just playing the reveal-based ID. It's in quotes. I'll change the title. I'll change the title after. Engrams are basically the storage units of the brain, like a megabyte. Oh, super cool. Tony gets 7 million actions and then to garage baddies. It's unfortunate that Tony has like really good deck building, so you want to play Tony. To be fair, the runner's hoping to play 3 resources and you can play Scarcity, you will win. Okay, so the question is, what other cards do we have that have reveal in them? And so we can look through them, and you want to consider as much as you can to say the word reveal on them. So we're going to do X reveal. Oh, we're going to do that here. X reveal. So for those who don't know, the reveal, we're going to do X reveal. Standard, and we're going to do DC, which is D Corp, side corp, and we're going to look at all the cards here that reveal. Now, there are a bunch of false positives here because Psy game reveals credits. That doesn't count. So I think we can do X. What is it? Exclamation mark Psy? I think should get rid of the Psy cards. I think that worked. Oh, but Ambush still works. Wait, why is reveal showing up on Angelique? Oh, wow. Yeah, Expendable works on Hyoubu. That's sick synergy, I guess. Subliminal is great for Hyoubu. Jinja City's good. Subliminal, definitely. I try and avoid playing Jinja City Grid at all costs because I don't think it's a good, healthy card. But yeah. Standard Procedure was very important, I found, to make Focus Group any good. Yes, unfortunately, Standard Procedure also needs a successful run. I played this deck idea before in Envy, and I hate the fact that it needs a successful run. So let's look at the reveal cards that we can consider playing. Anything that's low influence, anything that's economy-based can be better. Anything that can consistently fire more than once, that's good. What if we revealed our cards? We will reveal our cards more consistently, I think, in a lot of cases. So let's look at Angelique. Angelique is a reveal card. So in theory, we can do Angelique for a single damage if we're at threat 3, whereas what we want to be on complete image anyways. So this actually works really well with complete image. It is a lot of influence, but Angelique into complete image technically works. Attitude Adjustment, also fine. Depending what our agenda suite is, Attitude Adjustment becomes a slightly better economy card, and this card is totally fine. Balance Coverage, even better. It's unfortunate that balance coverage is actually going to be better than the in-faction revealed to get money card, but we're probably going to have to play balance coverage, and then we're probably going to ice up balance coverage. What's kind of wild too with balance coverage is that like we could ice it up if we're going to try and fast advance out of hand, and then we can protect this with ice while we score, you know, agendas from hand, but who knows. Bamboo Dome, over here, this is the sort of card that gets you every once in a while on Gordian Blade. Oh, on that note, Lost Geek updated Gordian Blade, for those who don't know. He's going to keep working on it, but he actually redid it. Apparently it's better. I've done this one today, so I'm not gonna be able to do it. But if you want to play Wordle with Netrunner cards, the whole standard format, unfortunately, I wish there was a flag here to play with the card pool that you probably know if you don't know all the cards. Anyways, Bamboo Dome, what does it do? It protects R&D. Reveal the top 3 cards of R&D as a click. Secretly choose 1 to add to HQ. Return the others to the top of R&D in any order. Not very powerful. You can control the top of the deck. That's okay. Behold, these are the false positives because they reveal the card, not you reveal the card. You have to do the revealing, right? For Hyoubu. Yeah, so you have to reveal it. So ambushes like that don't work because the runner reveals it here. That was part of the updates. You can pick standard, all NSG, and startup. Oh, I didn't realize this, Seb. Sick. You can do it with different formats. Okay, so more people should be playing Gordian Blade. That's awesome. I didn't realize that. Building blocks, whatever, too much influence. Celebrity gift is slightly better in this format. It now becomes 2 clicks for 8 credits. However, you reveal the whole hand. And as soon as we reveal our game plan with complete image and all this sort of stuff, we're probably in a pretty bad spot. We could also play Neurospike in the deck as a fork to be like, if you don't steal the agenda, we'll score it out and hurt you. But if you do steal it, we'll try and complete image you. That's worth something, but celebrity gift probably sees play. Digital rights management, not bad if we want to get a 5-3 on the table consistently and to force the game forward. This is worth considering. Engram Flesh is banned. Flower Sermon. Technically one of the most consistent ways to fire our ability. This agenda has just underperformed classically in the format. There were a couple key cards that this worked really well with, but this in theory is 5 credits and we can fire it on our turn or the opponent's turn to make sure we're getting that money off of it too. So it's abstractly like a 5 credit econ card as long as we're not revealing consistently enough. It's something worth looking at for sure. It also protects the top of R&D, which is kind of sick. Snare is probably going to be part of our deck because we want to get them to low hand size to hit them with complete image. So this is pretty good. Sokka made the loot box, made him a surprising amount of money when he played Hyoubu. Yeah, Sokka played Hyoubu just like Jinteki Glacier with like Subliminal and loot box, and I think Brawn too, because loot box Brawn is a really good interaction. Brand 1. I think we're gonna try more for lethal because he just played like fundamental. I think he played Biovault, I'm pretty sure, as he usually does. Focus group, great. Ambushes, the runner reveals these, not so much. Ganked probably has some interaction. Gaslight, not bad, but it's going to be hard to protect something. Gaslight into our complete image is not bad whatsoever, or focus group. That's kind of cool. Gatekeeper's sick. Gatekeeper's actually kind of nice. 6 strength code gate. That's not too bad whatsoever. And then we're getting into, actually, we have a lot of options. Just trying to be like Hyoubu's Glacier with the click abilities flavor text. Yeah, that's rough then. It's like, I would rather play Ag Infusion sooner. I would rather play probably Ag Infusion sooner. I've had loot box fire against me when I was on Monolith Lat and I didn't get punished. Jinja is a really powerful one for Hyoubu because you're going to be revealing very consistently and building a server. And that helps because you have a lot of ice and the ice is expensive. I do not like Jinja because it kind of promotes Netrunner where it's just like, I'm going to put 6 ice on a remote server. I just don't think it makes interesting Netrunner. It's a very powerful card and there's metas where this is the best thing possible. I just don't love ice spamming. That's on me. Konjin, false positive. Lethea, false positive. License acquisition. Can't play it. Loot box, not bad. 1 influence. It's really ugly. And the run, unless the runner pays 2, they have to pay 2 generally. And reveal the top 3 cards of the stack. Add 1 of those cards to the grip. So we gain information through this, which is not bad whatsoever. Because then we know what's in their hand. And if we know what's in their hand, we have a better chance of complete imaging them or doing the focus group. So it's definitely worth considering. Malpert's too much influence. Mavirus is not a real reveal. Maganga is a false positive. Moonpool is a cool card. I honestly think open forum, there's a chance that if you really want to make Epiphany work, you need more cards like this. Because we played Epiphany last week and had a pretty bad time doing it. But I would honestly be more interested in playing Epiphany. And it's like really hard. Because like making the top of R&D safe wasn't the most important thing. Because like still people broke through and saw 2 or 3 cards and then we lost when the agendas were on the bottom. I just think taking Epiphany and taking the 3rd card and putting it directly on the table where like the runner can never touch it seems it doesn't work out. Peeping Tom, when the runner counters this, name a card type, they reveal all cards in the grip. This is 3 influence, but this is one of the only full grip reveals that we have in the format. So unfortunately, the tag thing doesn't matter, but that's a really important subtype, really important trait that this card has over other cards. We used to have cards in faction that did that. We don't anymore. Bummer. So it is what it is. What else do we have? Pivot. No, really. Regenesis, fine. Public Health Portal, also fine, but probably worse than the normal NBN thing we have access to. Okay, Slot Machine Band. Standard Procedure is a very good economy card. They revealed the whole grip if they made a successful run. We make money, we see their whole hand. In theory, if they have a lot of cards of the same type, you can do Standard Procedure, install Focus Group, and you can actually fast advance. But that requires them to have 3 or 4 of the same kind of card in hand, which is absurd. Subliminal messaging is really, really powerful because it's a reveal that fires consistently and even clicklessly. Because clicklessly, this is a 2 credit econ card in your deck. That is why I think playing Glacier like Sokka did makes a lot of sense, because if they can't make successful runs because everything's really expensive, this card is really, really good. Otherwise, you're playing a deck that's kind of comparable to Restoring Humanity, but you have to play 45 minimum. Tree Line, we're not going to do that to X-Fair. We're not going to do Wave. Not the worst wave, honestly, because wave lets you reveal and get an ice from your deck, and that's not too bad. All right, did we lose Salem's? Yes, we lost Chronos Protocol when we lost Salem's, so there's not a lot of good complete image support. All right, that takes us here, which is not a great spot to be, but we're gonna try and put this together. The IGN had a really fun Hyoubu list I used to play, use 3x subliminal image, seemed to work pretty well. The thing is, like with those sort of decks, when they're playing 3x subliminal image, there's like no reason why the runner shouldn't be running every turn. Because the deck doesn't have great ice, it doesn't have a strong economy, it doesn't have a good threat. So like 3 subliminal imaging is like, to me, too much. I don't think there's any deck in any format that should be playing 3 subliminal imaging, unless it's on like Wage Workers combo potentially. And even then. Yo, Luckmanos, we're trying Hyoubu. Gonna reveal some cards. I don't know how great it's gonna be, but we're gonna try it. So we're gonna start here, Spin Doctor, Hedge Fund, get some money in. 2 subliminals as a start, it seems nice. In theory, we could do this reveal thing. We have to worry about our agenda suite. We'll try the Flower Sermon. That's fine, we'll try it. We're gonna need some fundamentals. Oh, we should hit this button. Lights out. That's probably why I never did well with it. It seems like a fun tag. I don't know if it's gonna like be super competitive, but like that's totally fine. Let's just do a reveal check real quick. So Snare has a reveal on it, but not a real reveal because the runner reveals it. But we'll play 2 because we care about cards in hand. This is the sort of deck where I think we're going to protect a balanced coverage because it's going to be important. Even if we reveal a card, we'll get a credit. If we reveal the right card, we get 3 credits. That seems kind of okay. So we're going to put this in our remote server. We'll have to ice it up. I don't know if we want to play 2 or 3. Otherwise, in Jinteki, we don't have a lot of economy assets. We can play Celebrity Gift. We probably will, but that's important. Complete image, we have to protect this at all costs because it gets trashed and we lose. What does that give us for focus group? Like 2 focus groups? We have to play 3-pointers, so I'm thinking of playing Fuji. Mind you, we probably should be playing the real 3-2 that everyone wants to play, the 5-3, sorry, the one that lets you look at 7. Genetic whatever, bacterial reprogramming. That's probably going to be more powerful because we are inherently want to get our complete images on the turns that they steal a bacterial. Like that's really cool. What could be cool here is like we're building a bad punitive deck where if they steal, you know, the bacterial, we feed them another 3-pointer and then we kill them. Admittedly, focus group is going to be pretty bad unless we're running 3-2s or 3-1s, but the Jinteki card pool does not support 3-2s or 3-1s really well. So that's going to be a problem for us. There's a chance the focus group is a bridge very, very too far. We have to do, what's that one that we look at their whole hand, gain 2? The Jinteki card? We probably have to play that because it's more money. Standard procedure. That takes us to all their influence. So that means no loot box, no brawn. I'd imagine if we're playing some of the bigger agendas to go complete image, we should not play focus group. Focus group makes more sense for on-tempo 3-2s or 4-2s, and almost nobody has on-tempo 3-2s besides Wayland. So we're probably going to cut focus group and just work more on the complete image plan. Does that sound reasonable? We just do more damage to them? I think that might sound reasonable. So if that's the case, we just want to find more information on what's in their hand and then use that to hurt them. So that means we could play a suite of like Fuji and then Bacterial maybe. Maybe we play Neurospike as well. We're on 15 agenda points, so we want to play 4 5-3s if anything. Focus group is hard to play in Jinteki since all your ice empties their hand. Yeah, the idea is that they're playing around a complete image, they're playing into focus group, but it is kind of nonsense. Off is a tempo positive 4-2. It's unfortunately there's a big chance we have to play off-world office just because having money is important. The other one that we can consider is viral weaponization, but I only want to do this if we have enough money in the deck in general, because off is very, very good for money in the deck in general. Katafuji. The thing is, like, you want to play a lot of 5-3s because the text on complete image is pseudo threat 3 text, so it kind of, you know, is good to do that. There's no 1-pointer that we want to play, right? Jinteki has 1-pointers, yeah. Standard procedure, my favorite one of my Asmari deck because it sometimes just gets you 10 credits at an hour. It's hilarious. It works really well with Asmari if they're like not playing the thing you call, of course. One of, so we could play a Regenesis. It's a bit awkward, but it could be a 4-point score. We put the Fuji in the bin. They sometimes just run archives anyway because it's subliminal. I think it's okay. I think putting a Fuji in the bin with the Regenesis is like a totally reasonable play line when we have complete image. If that's the case, we want to do as much damage as we can to them. So we want to do damage into see their hand into complete image. Like our play pattern is standard procedure into complete image. Do we play 2 copies of Daniela? Yeah, maybe. Or not Daniela, sorry, Angelique. Because it is a reveal and it does the damage. We can put it in the remote server. I don't think that's the worst. And let's build the rest of the deck around this. So Rashida, we have to ice this up. It's a problem. Let's look at our ice first because we don't have influence on ice anymore. So let's see what we can do here. Reaper function. I don't think Reaper function makes too much sense. It's not the worst, but like we'd have to ice it up, right? And I don't know how we're going to ice it up. So what is a Jinteki ice suite that we can afford to res is a problem. So Tithe is in a good spot. 1 of Thimblerig is fine. 3 Tattoo Bull is fine. 1 Swordsman is reasonable into the meta. What else do we want here? Saisentan's a bit rich. We're definitely going to be playing Vampiranasa. We skipped that. That's a really powerful card. It only cost us 5, hopefully. Palisade Owl, Autoroshi, Mlinzy. I don't like... There's a lot of these that I don't like. There's the problem about building Jinteki Ice in faction. You run into issues really quickly. Nigma's fine, but we don't really need a mid-range code gate. Dave, we're trying some Hyoubu. It's gonna go fine. Atini, Anansi. Anansi doesn't feel good. Anansi hasn't felt good in a while. I don't think it feels great. We're missing a big barrier, and like I do not want to play Ivik because we just don't have enough money to play Ivik. We have to score at 4/2s, and we have no support for all these 4/2s anymore. So like, how do we get support for 4/2s? I think we probably don't get support for 4/2s. I think we just play as many 5/3s as possible and cut all this nonsense. I haven't heard in a long time. That's a name. Yeah, me neither. I think we should just play more 5/3s. So that would be either Send a Message or Bacterial. It would probably be Bacterial, right? So we could try something like that. It's a weird agenda suite. The Flower Stormers are not really doing much. They're useful when we score them out. But install advanced events, like we really want to play NGO front. I don't know how we're going to get the balance coverage to stick. That's going to be a problem that we have to deal with. We're only on 12 ice. We need more ice. I feel like the balance coverage is going to be really difficult to make work for us. So what other ice can we play? Diviner is not the worst, but with Buzzsaw, Diviner is pretty bad. Buzzsaw is probably the most popular code gate breaker in the format. Anemone is good enough. We have 1 Regenesis. That's always cute, but just doing more damage means we can set up the complete image. There's no ice in faction that reveals their hand, right? I do think we probably play a Saisentan. There's nothing in faction that reveals their hand, right? Like a Phonotria can be annoying because they clear a tag. That slows them down. They're not drawing. What are we on now? We're on 14 ice. Probably want at least 1 more. Yo, Code, how's it going? Jinteki Ice Associate. Yeah, it's really hard just to put together like that mid-range ice suite. Like any other faction, you don't struggle to put together 15 ice that feels good. Like we're on 14 and we're pushing it. Konjin is not a real reveal. It says reveal. I just want to hurt the runner. Is that too much? I just want to have something that's nice. I just want to have a nice piece of ice that it rests and be like, that's going to be a problem. Karuna is a good face check. I'd argue that Karuna is like... So the Karuna versus largely Saisentan comes down to what you're playing into. If you're playing into a lot of criminal, I think in some ways you'd rather have the massive face tank damage, not that they would face tech without a killer. But then the difference is between 2 strength and 3 strength. Carmen is not nearly as popular as it used to be, but Carmen was like a reason why you want to play Karuna. So like circa Worlds last year or like Continental season, you probably consider Karuna actually, because a lot of people were playing Carmen and then they break this for the same they break Drafter, which is really, really annoying. But modernly, if they're on, what's it called? If they're on Echelon, like Saisentan is just as good. It's worse into, not that people should face check with Banhar because of Anansi, that's like a mistake. But I honestly think Saisentan is probably better. Let me cause pain. Is there anything weird? You may install 1 piece of ice from HQ. No, that's not going to do it. If we had more money, I think Conundrum is honestly worth considering if you actually have big money in the deck. I think this card is honestly just about good enough. The Ice Thaw has made this thing better. Saisentan is Mario was my favorite joke deck for a while. Only works if they don't expect it. Hilarious to name event. But then they'll never play their events. It's weird too. Installing a program to the top of their stack. This will never fire because they don't want to face check without a Sentry Breaker unless they're like, oh, they're on 2 credits. Let's go. But this gives us information. All hail our Overlord Saisentan. Why don't we have 3 of them in there already? I feel like we have too many sentries to do that. It's not about the money. It's about the satisfaction. I think we have too much. Sorry, I got to move my face. Too much sentries to play that. Like I want another barrier. Like that's the problem. Is like the barrier slot here sucks. Like genuinely, would I put it on a remote server and put on what's the neutral barrier? Tree line is what, 1 influence? It's probably not worth it. Because like if you're not advancing tree line, you probably might as well play this card that I was struggling to find the name of. Right? Like if you're not advancing tree line, Palisade is like just tree line on the remote server for no influence. It's technically good ice and expendable if it's technically reveal, yeah. Just play Ivik? We can't play Ivik. It's too expensive and we only have like 4 code gates. Like we're on average going to pay 6 for Ivik, and I don't think we can pay 6 for Ivik. But like Palisade is like fine. Palisade on the remote server is like good into oh, we need to play my virus. What are we doing? It's like it's reasonable into Audrey. It's fine into Cleaver. Envelope is like the worst of it because it's not great into Audrey. It's not good into Cleaver. It's like the numbers on this should be flipped. Unfortunately, Envelope, Mark, how's it going? It's just like not a good ice. The numbers on it don't make a lot of sense. 4 is a lot. Right, like you know what other factions get for 4? Okay, we're at 50 cards. We probably don't have enough money. I think we need to get more money in the deck. So we're at 744. That's 14 ice. No, 15 ice. We probably want to consider playing. It's hard to play complete image when Karuna is a good ice for the cost. Yeah, we were talking about the difference, Diogen, between Karuna and Saisentan. I think I'm better with Saisentan here. Unless we're going to play more than of them. Because I don't think people are playing that much Carmen. I worry that we don't have enough money. Let's see what the test draw looks like. We have to cut a card. I would cut, honestly, an Anemone, I think. It's useful. It's really useful for complete image. Hope that doesn't hurt us. Okay, this opening hand's fine. We keep that. We do this on HQ. Would Vampy on the remote server. Probably click for a credit here. They hit the Mavirus. Good for them. Next turn, we can jam the NGO front. We have bacterial programming to complete image. So, okay, is there any card that we could play after firing a bacterial programming that would let us hit a better complete image? Karuna is the equivalent of a drafter, while sometimes the Serevna picked a taste. I think that's exactly it, but the difference is on the face check, and the difference is on the break cost. If people are on Echelon, Saisentan's more expensive. If people are on Carmen, Karuna is more expensive. And I think more people are on Echelon. But it is unfortunately like as dry as that. I think Serevna is worse though, because you don't have to break all the subroutines on Saryevna in most matchups. This hand's okay. I think we can try this. We probably don't have enough money. We really need to there's a big chance that we cut a Fuji for a bacterial. We need to find out. There must be a card that we can draw off the bacterial that'll make complete image better. But I think the only thing is Angelique. That you could do Angelique into complete image. But you probably have to do like Angelique into reveal card from hand into 50-50, right? What's a card that lets you shuffle agendas away and gain credits for it? Attitude adjustment. But I don't know if we need it. But it's a consideration, Leon. Yeah, for sure. Attitude adjustment's a bit better because you do reveal. I think there's a chance that we need to do this and hope that bacterial programming draws us into economy. Like we're a Yodel deck without your digital life. We'll try this. The grand reveal. I put grand in quotes. You can't. About Hyoubu at a local competition 2023. I don't know if I saw you play Hyoubu. I don't think I played against Hyoubu. I think in chat your deck did come up earlier. If it was the same deck, you might have published more than one Hyoubu deck. Loot box is fun. Yeah, I like loot box. I think loot box brand is really cute. I'm pretty sure we're gonna end up cutting the NBN acid because I don't think we can ice it up. First game in 2 hours in? No, Seb. It would be firstly 159. It would be a record if we don't play a game. Sansan with Regenesis. Yo, did y'all hear that at CBI, QTM, or specifically Tuno, was playing Augustino, which I love. I think that's sick. I've always wanted to see Augustino in the list. I know when we played like Anarch Viruses, we slotted in Augustina. Not sure why that came up, but we slotted in Augustina. It's really good. But do you know how Augustina works with Regenesis? I did not see the interaction coming. But the Regenesis Augustina interaction is so hot fire, and I did not get it until it was explained to me during the finals interview. Oh, I loaded too many deck lists now. JNet's like crawling. The complete 3-1. Drudge work? Drudge work is a bit expensive. I'd rather play attitude adjustment soon. Why did I do YouTube? Hold on. This is Daijin's deck, just so that we hit the 2-hour mark, right? So the idea is on the corpse turn that they start to triple advance to score out the Regenesis in the remote server. You use self-modifying code, or you use simulchip to install a virus, and then because of Augustina, they have to sabotage one. So in theory, a card has entered their heap, which means it didn't happen. Like they can't score Regenesis. So that you do advance, then you say wait. Then you use a fast trick to like install a virus, right? So simulchip SMC. And then there's the first time you install a virus, each turn, so that has sabotage one. And then like the relevant text on Regenesis says if they did not add a card to archives, and they did, so they can't do the Regenesis trick, which just buys you a turn. You're not 100% sure it's the Regenesis, you're pretty sure it's Regenesis, but that is so sick. Because I heard it in passing. They're like, oh, Augustina sees play to deal with Regenesis. And I was like, isn't that the worst thing you could do? Because then you give them a chance to sabotage and then they can add their 5/3 to the bin. But no, they do it on the Regenesis turn. It's so cool. And Regenesis interaction was super cool. I love when top players explain lines that I've never considered. Yeah, I never considered that line. I think Augustina is totally worth it. Like we even saw in Asmari Glacier. It's like once that deck is set up, you can just like start grinding. I think we saw it against Art Plus. You just start like milling every turn and it's good enough. But that's so cool. Would Marrow actually stop Regenesis? No, because you've already scored the agenda. You do your stuff first. If you scored it somehow on the runner's turn, yes. But you do your text and then Marrow fires because Marrow is their card ability. So they're not the active player. Tiebreakers teched against QTM first. it's like the Augustus tech. I was playing Paul Augustina. How's it going? Marrow triggers after you move the agenda. Yeah, it's too late. It's already gone through. That's fair, yeah. It's Augustus tech, which is like so funny. Okay, there's a lot of fun. Flower Summer was MVP, protect R&D and HQ very effectively. We're still trying it. I don't believe in it, but we're trying it. This is back in the day with Obokata, Sansen. Cool. So these are the sort of decks, like, I think if your opponent doesn't know what you're doing, this will get you. But at the end of the day, it's just Ice and Sansen. So I don't know why. Complete image though. Okay, so there's a kill package there at least. But like if the deck is just money and Sansen, it comes down to them not reading it. And if they don't read it, like they can just trash the Sansen and then the deck has to like jam agendas. Can you just run archives? Yeah, there's no reason not to run archives, right? Interesting. Yeah, it's just Jinteki Glacier. That's cool. Augustine against Asmari Glacier is my nightmare. They just sit there and laugh as you try not to deck out. It's super funny. Yeah, the 44 card deck matchups into like Essa or Augustina are kind of fun too. Sabotage is good into the 44s. All right, 2 hours and 3 minutes. We did it. We held on. Really had a chance to play? It seems so good in Anarch. Oh, Paul, like Paolo's Cafe? Paolo's Cafe needs like 1 or 2 more support pieces, and then maybe it's a real card. It's tricky to play. There's just not a lot, especially in faction. It's a lot of influence, not a lot of connections, unique connections. Okay. Buckle up. This is going to be a fast one. I spilled coffee like pretty consistently everywhere. That fixes that. Now my hands are wet. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. I think there's going to be a lot more people playing Sunset is my guess. Not so far, but I think a bunch of the competitive grinders are a bit maybe burnt out after this weekend where they played a lot of Netrunner. Paolo's Cafe just needed to be worded differently correctly depending on who you ask, then it would be fine. What do you think the problem with Paolo Cafe is? I think the wording makes it obviously less egregious than what's it called? than the old workshop, but the wording is like, it's okay. There's no good way to get click intensity on this though, right? Like you need click compression to make this make sense because that's a very expensive action as much as it is free. All right, Lou, 44 Lou. Lou's not gonna be a good matchup because we have to hold key pieces. Like a, we have 2 more fires, so we'll be fine, right? Need to get the discount on both turns. Yeah, it's only mostly on your turn, which I think is meant to be like healthy. I hear you. Thanks, you too. All right, so we have early Tattoo Bolo, no support. They're going to be running whatever central they open imp. Spin Doctor open is not great. You generally want to avoid that if you can. I think we're going to mulligan here. That's a lot better. All right, so we need to ice up some stuff. We want to ice up HQ for sure. The question is whether we do next remote server Rashida. I think we're going to risk that, leave R&D open. On 5 credits, Sai Santana is a really bad face check here. We'll see if they respect it. It never doesn't work during your opponent's turn. It does work. It's just expensive. You don't get the discount. But genuinely, there's a lot of ways that that's okay. If Sunset supported as a standalone format, Jaina, do you still need to specify in the lobby name? I don't think it's supported, but I'm not sure. Audrey. Uh-oh. Now, it doesn't have counters, so they really need to rip an imp here or something. But if they're going to face check with... Like, the Audrey's useless here. I guess they just don't want to lose it to damage. We lose so hard to pinhole. Okay, I'm gonna... Oh man, that's wild too. Because if we had another ice in hand, like this is one of the worst things to botch list, but it's gonna work out for them. This is our counter. We're gonna count how many times we get our credit off of our ability. We're gonna get ruined here. It's just lobby names. Okay. So we don't have a swap there. Kind of makes sense. We're gonna lose the Rashida here. They're gonna get an Audrey counter, and now we're in a bad spot. This is what we need it to be. If they face check into a Sai Santana, it's really bad for them. Okay, so we're gonna do Hyoubu to see their hand. So we know that they have a strike fund in hand. That's not great. I joined so many Sunset games by accident. So we need to make sure that they can't get into everywhere, but they can just roll forward. Keeping the Sai Santana in hand makes some sense. I think we'll just do this. With 4 cards in hand, we don't really need a standard procedure there. We could, for sure. We need to also keep track of the Steel Skin Scarrings, which is going to be a bit difficult. But we need to force this Tattoo Bullet to get swapped. That's 1 Steel Skin. That's really good for us. Just going to Audrey it for 2 cards. Gachapon coming down. Look at 4. Boomerang. Okay, so this is just a good deck. Who was playing this? I think Doomrat was playing the Noom Boomerang version, I think. Fermented coming down. Audrey and Claude is removed. Okay. And the problem is once they get an imp down, right? Like, we'll never score back to programming, which is going to be a problem. Right? Like this is us playing a tier 3.5 deck into a tier 1 deck, and it's not going to be great. I think we're kind of at the point here. Like this face check, I guess with Audrey. But yeah, this is an issue. Is I think the good deck, especially this deck, which is really oppressive, is going to stop us from playing our game. And now there's a big disconnect between the tier 1 deck. Doomrat was not on Gachapon, okay? But there's going to be a pretty big difference here between their deck and our deck in power. So back to your programming, they have to steal it. We in theory could win here. Okay, how do we win? We have a complete image. No, we don't. Shit. We don't have a complete image, but we can add a lot of cards in. We're not going to discard any cards. So a card to move to HQ. Subliminal messaging, sure. Vampire NASA. Thimble Rig. We don't have a shuffle effect, which means that we're going to have to draw this sooner than later. So our turn is install 3 cards, so we don't need an NGO front. So we'll leave Tithe on top. And so we'll do... Oh, no, we're going to draw. We should redo this. Are we allowed to redo this? So then we'll just do this. Yeah, shit, you can't undo that. Okay. So we'll put this there. Oh, we'll have to do that again. So we'll do, we want to draw the NGO front. We'll put the Flower Summon underneath the Tithe. What's the order? That's good. I drew 4. This is 44 cards. Looks like Boomer Mulch version. Okay, cool. So we didn't find them a virus, which would be really good here because they don't have the knob Kuri. We don't have a complete image, which is a bummer. Playing subliminal doesn't count as a click. Yeah, we'll get the subliminal out. It's only a click for credit. We don't get the 2. But so far, Hyoubu's got 1 credit. Now they're on 5 cards in hand. Okay, so subliminal. So we need to ice up all centrals. Trashing the tattoo bull is not really worth it because we'll swap it for something once we need to. So we have a tithe on top of R&D. We should ice that up. A tattoo bull is fine. We need to ice up HQ to some extent. I think we'll do thimble rig. And I think we'll put this up here on server 1. If they don't run, we get 2 credits with subliminal messaging. And we can jam the NGO front, or we can draw for the flower sermon. Because we know there's a tithe into sermon. This is why this card is really good. It just bought us. Uh-oh. Now they're going to be running archives every turn to charge Audrey. That's a problem until we get a Mavirus in there. And we know the Mavirus is not in the next 3 cards. But now they're going to be running every turn, which turns off our subliminal messaging. This is why it's really important in subliminal messaging decks to give them a reason not to run. So either we have to ice that up or something else. Okay, so a tithe is okay. We can do draw, install, advance. We don't have a lot of money, so we can res the Vampire Nasa, swap the tattoo for something. The Vampire Nasa might... Oh, they charged? They didn't charge the Audrey. I think we can work with that. I just want to see what Flower Sermon does. I don't think we can actually defend this, but this looks weird. They should know that we know what this card is, but so far Hyoubu's fired once in 4 turns. Not good. We have a standard procedure there. We could consider playing it. So now they're going to charge Audrey? Yeah. And so now they can pressure every single server. We don't know the top of R&D. If they break the Tattoo Bullet, we're happy with it. So we'll res the Vampire Nasa. It looks like some subroutines on this are going to fire. So they're going to get the Flower Sermon. They're going to be on game point, actually. This is probably not great at all. They don't have to break any of this. They should. I love playing complete image out of Harsa Chandra. You still have to get lucky on the damage, though, right? I know. How's it going? I don't know the last time I played a complete image. But Harsa Chandra, if they're tagged, you see their hand. The damage is still random, though, so it's still really tricky. So let's see what they do on the Vampire Nasa. It's going to be 2 cards, so they might just fire it. Steel Skin, that's the second one. Okay, so they're boosted to 3. Always fire Sermon at the end of the runner's turn to never double trigger. Yeah, I don't think we're going to score one, though. We should have jammed the NGO Frontier if we were smarter. So now they're at Audrey 3. We'll draw 2. No complete image, okay. An NGO here would be very, very good for us. Tattoo Bola swap, that's going to eat the thing. Do the second Tattoo Bola. And they got a Sermon. Okay. This idea makes me wish for Grails back. Yeah, I know Grails when they were out. That was like the easiest way. Mind you, Grail was ice that you had 9 of them in the deck and they always revealed when you encountered them. They were very fun ice too. That modularity is a bummer. So Simulchip, they'll probably go for the Fermenter here if they really want money. Otherwise, in the heap, they have Buzzsaw. So this is the window to use Simulchip if they want to before they end their turn. Okay, hedge fund. So I think here we just do install advance advance. We could see their hand a bit if we really wanted to. Don't love it. If we do install advance, we discard a card. So I think we do install advance, tithe archives. That's probably fine. It means our tattoo bolas are inert. Oh no, we do a bola swap. But here they could go for it, or also they could be like, we're so far ahead we don't need to. Once an imp comes down, the game is totally different. But unless we have a Mavirus, like, yeah, this is really important we keep this up. I'm gonna ask for an action first. In theory, they have the priority window here, but this protects our subliminal, which is, again, it's a 2 credit econ card if they can't make a successful run. Why would you ask for action there? In theory, you should. You don't really have to. Fire all. Okay. So they lost the labor rights. They have fewer cards in hand. But now they get their Audrey counter. They don't have a cookbook yet, so the Audrey can't be reset by Simulchip. And it looks like they might try and contest this. Imp. Okay, they're going to run centrals. R&D is probably the softest here. Yep. Bola. If we had an Anansi there, we actually could have rezzed it. That would have been sick. Fire all. Okay. Now charging server 1? Nothing. Okay, so they made a run. So we don't get that back. This is so bad. Okay, so I think we do reveal their hand advance and then... Like, complete image has a chance to kill if we had one. So advance this. They're going to start smashing into R&D. 2 Tattoo Bolas is kind of annoying. They might just keep going through the tithe over and over again. I think we reveal here. I think we crack the NGO front, but that's such a bummer, right? So I think we like crack the NGO front, install the Spin Doctor, look at their hand. I guess we should look at their hand first then, because we're not going to res the Spin Doctor. Labor rights. So we know labor rights. This is really ugly. We're on 11 credits though. We're getting our ice up. We're kind of climbing in there. If they don't make one run, we got 2 credits. That's sick. Again, is this just restoring humanity with more steps? So far, yes. Solidarity badge. Okay, they definitely want to run here. So they're going to last click. If they hit a snare here, we're in a really good spot. Well, we need to draw a complete image. Fire, Audrey, okay. Come on. Snare. Come on. Balance coverage, that's fine. We don't want to draw that. They're going to trash it. Any run turns off subliminal, not just success. Yeah, no, I know. Any run turns it off. So they have 4 cards in hand. We know labor rights. That's all we know. Back pro. Shit. Okay. So we have Angelique. She's somewhat worth keeping in hand. In terms of like what they have in their hand, we've seen 2 steel skins go. So we could probably kill a complete image. We have to get lucky, right? Like we do Angelique, see a card, complete image. We need all that stuff for sure. So if we want to hold down here, we can discard cards. Otherwise, we can do install advance with back pro. It'd be Vampire and Nasa into Tattoo Bola. We'd probably want another Ice Palisade would be good. So we can set up for a turn here. I don't think they're going to run HQ. If we discard this agenda, I don't think we want to jam this agenda. I think we want to survive. I think we do discard it so we can push Regenesis. So I think we just reveal a card from hand. Obviously, we did this in the bad order. So we know Boomerang into Boomerang into what's it called? Labor rights. Multiply ice on the remote sound. Tattoo Bola. Okay, tattoo swap. 3rd steel skin again. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's only 11 agendas and 27 cards. It looks like they realize we have a Tattoo Bola Swaparino. Snare? Nope. Standard procedure going down. That's okay. We really want a virus or a complete image here. They always have a lot of cards in hand. But we know they don't have steel skin, so damage will be real if we connect it. Cleaver coming down, that's annoying because the remote server is no longer safe. Is that the labor rights? Hold on. Is that the labor rights? Thinking. Or is that a labor rights? Because we reveal the labor rights, but I didn't track whether they discard. So they have Boomerang in hand. When did we reveal labor rights? Oh man, this is so hard to play. Labor rights revealed. They didn't discard, so I think they have a labor rights in hand and a Boomerang. So the chance of us, we can do Angelique to do a damage. It gains us a credit. It's actually free, right? So that will drop into 4 cards. So we'd have to guess what's the rest of their hand. But we know half their hand. So we do Angelique. We look at a card in their hand after, and then we do complete image. So we have a very small chance of flatlining. We're going to have to do a lot of guessing, but it's technically possible. We have to ditch the Doctor and install Regenesis, which means we lose to Archives run. Yes, but we have to take those lines when we're this far behind. I think we have to take, like, they won't run Archives. They'll just run R&D over and over again. Otherwise, we can do standard procedure. See their whole hand. That would be better. Angelique into complete image. You want to take the line? I think we're so far behind. We have to take the nonsense line. Right? Because we have to win 1 in 4, then a 1 in 3, and then a 1 in 2. So that's a third of a 25, a half of a third of a 25. It's really bad. It's like 4%. Now, if we get the Tattoo Bolo here, it doesn't do much. But like, we need them to hit a snare to open up. Like, I think we just played to that eventuality that they hit a snare. This doesn't work because they're terminal. For Hyoubu, scoring Flower Sermon is so important. We only have 2 in the deck. It's obviously going to be important because we give them a snare, but like, we lost this one. I think we jammed it a bit too aggressively, though. It's on us. We should have saw that we didn't have a window there based on how they were playing. It's only a matter of time before they swing HQ as well, which will be a problem. So our line is E3. We need to connect with the snare. 124 goes to 1 and 6 to the even end to turn with fewer cards. Yeah, it goes up really high if they have fewer cards. You want to play 1? Like, we can afford it. Like, I don't want to discard any of these cards. Imagine. Fuck. Okay, sorry, we got a bunch of this. We just paid only 2 extra credits for a neural EMP. That's not too bad. Not too bad. Okay, we get information. Boomerang DJ Fenris. Okay, it's a fermenter. We didn't want the DJ Fenris there. I guess they can't. It has to be a virtual. But we just paid 4 to do a single net damage. Kinda sick. I think the deck might want 3 snares. If they hit a snare, we have a chance because we know all of the what's it called are out. We also can like figure out what's in their hand if we look at deck lists, which like that helps for open deck lists, I guess. But yeah, it's not good. Are you winning, son? No, not really. How's it going, Piotr? We're playing Hyoubu. It's not a great spot to be in. You didn't just do damage. You got to name a card. That's a good point, Monty. Today we named a card. We named it Boomerang. Okay, they're running with 2 clicks left here. We'd like a snare, so they should know that all we have here is Tattoo Bolas. So running HQ seems reasonable. If they trash the Tattoo Bola, this kind of falls apart a bit. Spin Doctor, oof. Strictly speaking, not nothing. Gain a credit. Buffer Drive Cookbook, okay. They have 4 cards in hand. Hold on, what's the math now? No! Imagine. Okay, wait, what's the math now? Standard procedure, we see the whole hand. Angelique drops them down to 3. So then we have to hit a 1 and 3 into 1 and 2. So that is 16%. Do you think what I'm thinking? Hardware is a ridiculous call. I'm gonna call event. They have a labor rates for sure. They have labor rates, Boomerang, Strike Fund, Boomerang. Okay. Why is the screen doing that? No idea. You have a black bar there. We're playing in cinematic mode. Okay, good to know. Angie, expend for free. Labor rates due to meat damage. They can bottom it. Can we christen the Boomerang after? Wait, this is sick because they have 2 of the same cards, so you always call Boomerang here. Wait, our odds are actually kind of high. Boomerang. So if we hit the Boomerang, it's a 50-50. If we miss the Boomerang and call the other card, it's a 1 and 3, but it's 100%. What's the right order here? Thinking. Right? Because we take a 1 and 3 to get 100%. Okay, we have to do quick stats here. It's a 2 and 3 and then a 1 and 2, right? So a 2 and 3 into a 1 and 2 is a 1 and 3. So no matter what's a 1 and 3. Got it? Got it? What was the last card? What is the last card? Don't panic, don't panic. Strike Fund. They get 2 credits. Nice. Last card. Renee, Lou, Arsamont. What do you mean it's not an option? GG. It won't let me write Lou. Boomerang. Got him. Oh man, holding 2 of the same card. I didn't realize that would open up our chance. Thanks, you too. Hyoubu, best idea ever. That was genuinely kind of sick. That was honestly pretty cool. Oh, we fired it 4 times. The ability was largely irrelevant. We could have played any other Jinteki and it would have been better. I'm glad I was here for this. I can't believe they had 2 boomerangs. Against complete image, you want to discard doubles. You don't want to hold doubles. All it takes to kill the best is some mad skills. Dread Penguin, good game. Yeah, thank you. All right. It's good to know we can do that. How do I leave the game? Oh, I'm just zoomed in. Why is it like this? Oh, it fixed itself. Okay. Shouldn't play with boomerangs. Very dangerous. Okay, so we've learned something about the list. Inherently, we have a win condition that is honestly slightly difficult to interact with. Defeated on chain note. Okay, we need to change this stuff. I think the what's it called? The NBN acid makes no sense because like how are we gonna protect it? So our agenda suite, let's not question it. It's obviously not great. So here we can do -2 balance to 1 snare, and then we can play like an attitude adjustment. That might make sense. Just as a way to not flood up. That could be okay. We could also just play another standard procedure. That seems more important. It seemed like the most important card on our kill combo. Yeah, let's try that. What's wrong with JNet? Did I do something? Loot boxes? We could play loot boxes. It's like, it's okay. We could play 2 loot boxes and cut like a Rashida or something. I feel like the safety rails on ending your turn after constricted for mostly random damage element. Am I missing something? I'm not sure I follow. Like how you play around complete image is hold steel skin in hand, don't hold doubles, and or don't run, right? Like it's maybe not the healthiest card, but it's also like kind of random. Now make the sunset legal. It wouldn't be that hard. Changeling, how's it going? We just caught Rashida, right? We can try it later today. Have to cut NGO too? Oh, yeah, we play Regolith, I guess. Probably play Celebrity Gift. I think it does, like, it is probably good to run more ice just because subliminal firing seems kind of important. Let's reset the counter. Oh, adjustment's gone too. That's fine. We don't have adjustment. We don't need adjustment. Reaper would be a good way to reduce their hand size. Galeheart, it would, but like then we have to ice it up. So like the turn is install Reaper. Don't do anything onto the board state if they don't run. And if they don't run, they shouldn't run, right? You know what I mean? Like it's tricky. I just don't like it unless they're spamming assets, because if we put in their remote server, I don't know what they should do anything about it. Maybe they play around with Genesis as much as one of. Hey. Yo, Jad, how's it going? I thought there was some big announcement clicking on stream. I know, Jad, I messed up. I'm going to change the title. I see Andre playing Hyoubu. How fitting. At least you put it together too. That's good. Hopefully you're doing well. It was good to commentate your match at the CBI. Hopefully you had a good time, eh? You can run the Mindscaping Peeping Tom package. We looked at Peeping Tom. It's like 3 influence. It's not a great card because we have no tag synergy. But I see with Mindscaping, there's suddenly tag synergy, supposedly. Maybe. I think Angelique is better than I think she is. Okay, Kit, 46. Opening hand, not the best. I'm going to mulligan this for an active play. That's way better. There needs Hyoubu more like, yo, woohoo. The title's fine as every stream is grand news. Every day is the best day. Okay, Kit, best of luck, have fun. We're not worried about Central's pressure. If she throws like a dirty laundry, or sorry, like a, what's it called? Maker's Eye. Or sorry, they, I think? I'm not actually sure, excuse me. A he for Gear Jock. So Spin Doctor to start is not great, but I think we're going to do it. I don't think there's a great way for Kit to pressure this. I don't know what this black box is coming in. Why are we playing in this weird, again, cinematic mode? We'll do new remote server. It's an expensive code gate, Rashida. We weren't punished last time we did this. Playing around Kit's ability. 4 strength code gate's not bad. Imagine there was a 4 strength end to end code gate. Would you play it for 3? Yeah, you would. It's called Whoredom. Cost 1 more. I'm still not ready to watch the bot, I don't think. Thanks to the commentary, though. You played against Veronica. It was a fun game. It was generally had a back and forth to it, which was cool. Where is the Palisade? Hinging on the Rashida surviving. This could have been a Saisentan, right? Like, I assume people would not face check when we have 5 credits, but apparently it's going to happen. This also eats the code gate ability. So they're going to have to come back. He's going to have to come back, excuse me, with a Fractor. If it's quite good around Kit's ability. Oh my God, that is really funny. Does it check itself? No, it doesn't check because you res on approach. It actually doesn't work. Yo, Pat, how's it going? How's your CBI, man? Tried to commentate or spectate one of your games, but we weren't able to. You finished too fast. Hopefully you had a good time, man. I saw your message. I didn't even respond that you messaged in Discord. Diesel Draw 3, Hyoubu throwback to the first NSG spoiler. The first ever spoiler on this channel was Hyoubu, was Saisantan, and Complete Image. We're playing all three of those cards to bring us back to our humble roots. Baya? Probably HQ? There's a lot of trashables in there we'd be kind of upset about. R&D, okay. Oftentimes you want to go HQ, especially after mulligan, if you're looking for an agenda. There's something to be said about not looking for agenda, but generally on an open HQ after Spin Doctor, like going HQ makes sense if you're searching for an agenda. There's something to be said about avoiding an agenda here, but we don't have snare money. Like you kind of want to go there. Went great, had some real nail biters, went 4-4, and considering level competition, really happy with it. Yeah, that's a good standing, man. Well done. I know you're playing RH instead of Ag Infusion. One day we'll get you on that Ag Infusion train. Glad you participated, man. It was hardcore. You played until like 2 in the morning. Like I was exhausted and I was not even commentating all the games. All right, so they know that what's on top of the deck. It was a hedge fund. Okay. So we want to get our code gates on the outside. Bacterial programming. We don't really want to do anything with that. How often does Complete Image actually do something? Feels like not very often. Well, we did win the game last game with it, so it feels like 100% of the time it's the right card. So they can face check. He can face check inside Santan. Excuse me. We'll get that on. We need to protect HQ. Like we've drawn a lot. They should pressure HQ. R&D is the next thing. This Palisade, getting 1 ice in front of it will be just good enough. Vampy on R&D is taxing. We have 9 cards here. We're going to remove something. I think we just play Hedge Fund, throw out Mavirus. Mavirus, mind you, is 1 damage. So like if we do build an Angelique Mavirus server, like that is a lot of damage. Do we need 2 NGO fronts here? Our play next turn, I actually kind of like the Mavirus. We could throw out the back pro. We're not trying to score it out. And they run archives. It's pretty good for us. Yeah, throw out Bacterial, yeah. Because we can get a Complete Image off of it. Because as soon as they run this, like we can feed them Bacterial Fuji and then just do Angelique Complete Image. Like they're not running. If they run Stone Chip, like that's a problem for us. I keep thinking, oh, I'll go to bed after this game, but convince myself to keep going. Either to get a good win or realize how close I was to top half or top 4. Did you make top 4 Jinteki? Because there were good Jintekis out there. Like we saw Jinteki in the top cut. Yeah, we did. But I don't know how consistent Jinteki performed. I think you might have made it. 4-4 might be top Jinteki. It's hard to say. I was 5th Jinteki. Oh no, there was 3 of us at the same points. Ah, oh, sorry, man. Nobody played Ampere, which like not surprising, but you could get free badges if you showed up as an Ampere. Okay, so here we have to decide if we're going to score with Angelique or we're going to do something different with Angelique. We don't have a huge play here. Like double install NGO front is slower than what they're doing and is only good if it baits a run. It might actually bait a run. I think he is at the point that he probably can consider dropping a breaker. I'm wondering if our ice is going to be repositioned. If a Palisade gets moved around with Inversificator, like it's cursed. It's not very good. So I think we could do this as our 1 economy play. Mind you, Hyoubu's fired 0 times. Restoring Humanity would have been better. It's not cool enough for a jean jacket? Dude, it's so cool for a jean jacket. Put the pins on bags or hats. Jean jacket is the Canadian heritage. Yeah, but you're cool, is he? Let's face it, you've met me. Yeah, that's true. Patrick, more like hat trick. I think, yeah, that's bad. This is what we're worried about. This might engender a run, which is nice, but the Palisade going on Centrals is a bit crap. At least it might not be like the innermost for that long or outermost for that long. This run's okay. Again, because he's not running, we can't play any of our trick cards, which there's some value to that. Yeah, this is okay. This spend some money. I can take this chance to say something mean to Patrick. I can let him say it himself, I guess, over a long enough period of time. He'll just say it to himself. All right, so Inversificator breaks it for 2 for boost, 1 for break, and then they can do a swap. Obviously, we want this on remote servers. It's the only positional ice in our deck strictly, so that's not great. Still, cost them some money. Then we get the NGO front. So yeah, we were right to call that they were just about to run. Shouldn't you be using Hyoubu's ability from time to time and keep track of the runner's hand? We should, but only if we want to click for a credit. Because like understanding what's in his hand only matters if we're going to do the kill, and we're so far away from the kill that it's like not worth anything. But 100%, yes. If we're clicking for a credit, it's strictly better to do this. There's no way we would jam an agenda behind one ice on turn, what, 4 into turn 3 into Shaper? I don't think you'd do that. But now, yeah, now we would. So Vampire Knots on the inside is not great. If we do Mavirus, Angelique. Whoa, Anemone Mavirus Angelique is 5 damage. Now, that doesn't set up a complete image because there is no complete image to be set up. But our ability still fired 0 of 0 times. We could stall advance NGO front again and see what happens. I think it's about time that the poke R&D here though, because this is really sweet for them. This is a 1 credit access. We have 3 snares in the deck. We have to remember that. Excuse me. That's not what we wanted to do. We want to just put 3 things in our remote server to do like a massive burst of damage. Might look like an agenda. This will give us a read. I think we learned so far is we need to run more complete images. We have as many as we can. And like the bacterial gets them consistently, hopefully. But yeah, we're playing as many as we can. We'll play 4. Jaina gets mad at you if you try and play 4. Prepaid, cool. So 20 might be here. Spark, okay, so we're probably gonna see here. I guess you want a turbine. Oh, conduit, that's fine. That's honestly fine. Diesel, come on, make a run last click. Come on, make a run last click. How many reveal cards did you end up including? A fair bit. I mean, like when in Rome. I'm gonna put a Trashable back in the deck. So what we're doing here is getting another ice on R&D so the Palisade doesn't do the terrible thing. We'll put this in server 2. If we score it, run game point. That's cool. Technically, complete image is in the threat 3 card, so I've been told. But now running archives is interesting. A Reaper would be nice in the server if they run, they take damage. If they don't run, yeah, but if they don't run, we can't complete image, right? Like they have to run and not run it, and then all the other things have to line up, and then it just eats our remote server. This is really greedy. Cyberdelia. This is going to get another one. You don't really need that. I wonder if they're looking for a killer here or a way to deal with Palisade. Grug no understand. Grug no run. There's no way Grug played Cyberdelia. Oops, game point. If you don't run, they'll do this. You gotta run. Find their snare. Like Reaper's really tricky because if they don't run, we don't develop board. Or on board, game point, he says, like we can threaten to score a 3-pointer. Yeah, we can. We put a Fuji in there. It's Fuji into Angelique, into Mavirus, into Anemone. That's how you win games. +1 credit. Oh, we revealed the card. Thank you. Oh man, we paid 2 credits to get 4 points. Could not ask for better. Okay, so resing the tithe here is a bit messed up because it'll be moved around, but it's a pretty good res. They pay 2, we pay 1. There's 2 more snares in R&D. They have 3 cards in hand, so like bacterial into complete image could be lethal. Yeah, Hyoubu. So now they can move this around. Versificator is the first time we pass a piece of ice, so they both eat the same trigger. So they can slide it down, and they have to if they want to get through the Palisade. Yeah, we're 1 trigger if I didn't miss anything. But this is relatively, like, we paid 1, they pay 4. Like, okay. Admittedly, we paid 2. 1. All right, so it's a dirty laundry here. We're hoping for a snare. We could spin Doctor back in. No. Psych Mike? Oh, that's fine. Genesis is a secret ingredient for Hyoubu? Tell me about it. Okay. Pinhole, telework test run. Crash the snare. If we top deck a complete image, we win. 100% we win if we top deck a complete image. It's that simple. It's 3 and 32. It's that simple. There's no way they can get out of this. If we just draw a complete image. Oh no, we have to draw Hyoubu complete image unless we want to guess the 1 of card in their hand. Even better odds in the last game. Kitchen, yeah, I'd say. We have to, like, if they don't, the thing is, like, do they clear the tag? Like, this is the thing. If they clear the tag, we can just draw. If they don't clear the tag, we have to Hyoubu or guess what's in their hand. So we only have a single draw. So we get mandatory single draw. Here we probably jam the NGO front if we don't get it. We can do install advanced hedge fund. That's also fine too. Yeah, they don't have a lot of cards. Like Vampire. No. Oh, Anemone's here though. They don't have 3 points yet. Oh, piss. It's not a threat card. Look, Ashes Remastered's coming out. It's not too late, NSG. Andre's believed in the threat clause. I have poisoned my mind with threat text. They can't die. Unless we top deck Angie. Angie is lethal. Garza Correa is parking her horse on the edge of the hill. She's unpacking the bipod. She's zeroing her scope on Kit's 10 influence, easy target, aim for the middle to 0. Did we trash Psych Mike? No, we don't trash Psych Mike. Draw. Okay. All right. Turns out they're totally safe to every angle we have. Besides hedge fund, flower sermon, advance, which doesn't put us on game point, but a snare delivery. The cool thing with Kit is, like, with Kit's ability, everyone uses Kit's ability. You don't have to res more ice than this. Howdy, Andre. We still believe in Angelique. She's been good. She won us a game last game. Not directly, but like support card. So now they need to draw a lot of cards, right? Because it's Mavir's Angie. That's 3 damage. Unfortunately, Flower Sermon doesn't turn on our ability. I think we have it. Unless they run last click, which with a tag, I don't know. They could have died to Mindscaping, into Mindscaping. Excuse me. Sorry, I don't know what I'm doing. Clear tag. Sick. This is maybe the first Flower Sermon I've ever scored. So we have to read the text on this. Sorry. Flower Sermon. When you score this agenda, place 5 counters. That's a big number. Reveal the top card of R&D if paid ability window speed. Draw 2 cards. Add 1 from HQ to the top of R&D. So they can no longer run R&D besides Conduit, which we'll see deeper. So that means we can definitely give them Snare, let alone get a credit. So we should be firing this most every turn. On their turn, because ideally we're revealing something on our turn. Let's hope. 1 credit. Go Hyoubu. We tried to build a Hyoubu deck and it's genuinely better than any other ID. Yeah, we can Flower Summon after they end their turn, on their turn. But this deck would literally be better in like Restoring Humanity. You try to build the Hyoubu deck and the Hyoubu ability doesn't even support it. This is potentially risky. We need them to steal an agenda though. You never played the Political Dealings Flower Sermon deck? I did, but I don't think I scored a Flower Sermon. I just played Political Dealings. The text is it's always Snare on top. Yeah, and unfortunately Snare on top is a bit expensive for us right now. At least it's 3 credit Snare. I died once to a Hyoubu deck. It could happen to anyone. Cool. We're okay with that. Yeah, no worries. It's a 3-2. You've advanced it to 4. Sermon? No, Sermon's a 4-2. Right? Yeah, it's a 4-2. They dropped me down to 1 card and they hit me with the ice. It's called Shot Event. Flower Sermon's a 4-2. Yeah, Yagi is the 3-2 that doesn't have text. I know what I said. Ironic that we need to read the text considering the original Flower Sermon given Buddha was wordless. There's clearly a reference there that I don't know, but that's really cool. I had once read, what's it called? Uh-oh, I can't even remember that. Siddhartha, but I was like in 10th grade. I don't know if that's going to matter. This Palisade sucks. All right, let's hit the button. Action. Axis. What happened to Conduit? Oh, this is the Conduit over the Conduit? That is weird. Why is that happening? The flavor text on the agenda seems to be weird. The voice is a sledgehammer, text is a blunt saw, truth requires subtler instruments. Let's get as subtle as we can by just feeding them a snare. Oh. So we can feed them a Fuji or a snare? Fuji turns on complete image. They take 2 damage. We want to set that up with the anemone though. That's actually really cool. Oops, all snares. Rigging up Paladin. Paladin Puemo, and Spark of Inspiration. Okay, 2 credits. We've got 2 credits with idea ability. They see the next card, they get 2 cards with Psych Mike. They probably clear the tag here. Siddhartha is sick, but not a legit religious text. Yes. It was in like a 10th grade doing a comparison between Siddhartha and like Fahrenheit 451, and I don't remember why. By the way, how's it going, Seekers? I see now this is going to play out. RD is safe. Trust. I only have so many of those. Okay, so theory then on our turn, we can Flower Sermon as well. We don't know what we're drawing into. Okay, so subliminal messaging is like totally fine. If we do Rashida in this remote server, it's Angelique Mavirus, so that's 3 damage. That lowers their hand size, but we need to give them agenda points for them to have a problem. So if we had more money, I would consider doing the Fuji into this server, because then it's 2 plus 3, 4, 5, and then complete image hopefully gets them. Blind to the doctor sitting over there. So I kind of want to get NGO front to go off. We can definitely subliminal, it's fine. We could sermon here for more options, but I kind of want to keep it. It's going to run out of value because of the conduit, right? Like it does not beat multi-axis, so that's worth keeping in mind. So I want to put the NGO front on the table, but I kind of don't want to put NGO front in this remote server because then they'll run it. Like this is one of the weird times where you do NGO front in a naked server, right? Like I don't see another line. Like if they put a Rashida, like we basically can't let them run this until it matters, and it's going to matter next turn when we have slightly more money, because this is a 5 credit play and we have to double advance this and threaten to score. So like this is what we're doing. It's obviously strange, but it's okay. You shouldn't have to ask for access. In theory, Gearjock will continue to run, means they hit the button to commit to access. Yeah, I'm aware of that. A lot of players though, like I'd rather just do it in text, but technically if they hit access, they're committing to access. It's just more fun. And I think you also learn a bit more that you're committing to access. Oh, that's a bit frightening. Immediately we can use, excuse me, Flower Sermon to draw a snare. But that's not a good time for this. Complete image, that was the operation which killed me at Hyoubu. Took a time to look it up. Yeah, we got our first flatline so far with complete image. They're going to move this on R&D, I reckon. So they're going to see 2 cards. They're going to steal Fuji potentially. I think we should Flower Sermon here. Yeah, do you want access? Is always the fun thing to ask. Sniff the bouquet. Access? Right, like this is fun. They gotta consider what they're doing. I like it. It scares them. It's just like asking cards in hand. Okay, so we'll do this. Credit. Uh-oh. It's any card, right? I'd rather hit the bacterial here. Vampy. Oh, J-Net's weird. Thimblerig, okay. It's not Grug. Yeah, I don't think this is Grug. Cyberdeli is not in Grug. I don't think Conduit or Psych Mike's in Grug. Okay, so we wanted them to lose cards in hand. They didn't. So if we do install advance here, in theory, the Fuji is okay. We could Flower Sermon for more value, but in theory, the Fuji is okay. It'll do 5 damage. They don't have a Psych Mike anymore. It's neat. But we could do install advance and then just hope that's enough. I think we just need to get them to complete image land, and this is probably the most impactful way to do it. So 9, yeah. Beta click with NGO, yeah, I'm surprised they ran it. It's a respect thing, right? Like maybe it's a winning agenda, obviously it could be, but it's not a huge cost for them, you'd say. Sure, gamble, we just like them playing cards from hand, so we're okay with that. I think we've got 3 credits so far. Strictly, we should just play another ID and this deck would get people off guard even more. This does feel okay, though. They're going for it with 4 cards in hand. This is actually lethal if they access. Oh, shit. This is just going to kill them. Him. I'm so sorry. Let's get to hide agenda on top of R&D otherwise. Yeah. This is just lethal. This is the one we have to access, and the answer should be no. Let's see if you want to go through the tithe again or allow us to res something. Both need to be res, yeah, but once they commit to access, he commits to access. So sorry, he has to, right? Like he can't jack out anymore. So we'll res both of them. But yeah, that's 2 + 1 + 2. That's sure gamble flatlined him. Okay. Still made a 1 and 5 instead of 1 and 4. Wait, what did? Hyoubu will never lose again. You want to retire the deck that fast, huh? I have to. I guess so. Yeah, you do. It's true. He could draw up. Just these. So res Angie, res virus. That's 3 damage on top of 2 more. This will be lethal. With 1 more card in hand, if you want to draw first, you're safe. And then you just have to draw, and we complete image. Hopefully. We got a 50-50 if you do draw, and we top deck complete image. Just spent Sermon making Hyoubu looking like the Jinteki ID. And this is not going to be a Fuji, right? Could be worse, right? Like, Urtica? The rare Mavias lethal? It depends on what order they access. I think it might actually be the rare Mavias lethal. I'd rather give it to Angelique. She's a bit more expensive in, well, salary, but. Jeremiah, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. You're just in time for a flatline. There's some neat cards in there that all say the word damage on them in different conditions. Fuji, you gotta steal it. It's not an additional cost, so that's gonna be 2 net damage. This is where it starts. And now it's up to Gearjock. Lost a lamb in a creative commission. Super cool. Why does order matter again? So they can inflate the stats of which other card they want on JNet. It doesn't matter. Think about Hyoubu's that is not played, hence players do not know how to read it, aside from expecting complete image. Yeah, but arguably there's not much they have to play around. Right? Like, it's just the Jinteki card pool and complete image. You'd actually be better playing this in a different faction. Like, if we played PE, that was a better play. If we played PE in general, our deck would be better. We made 3 credits as our D ability. Seems bad. Oh, no way. Oh, no way. That'd be a problem. Yeah, roller skates is a huge problem for us. That's just like 3 free damage. But yeah, generally we'd be better with PE. We'd have done 1, 2, 3 more damage, especially on that. It matters on like that sort of run. Third snare was the way to go. Yeah, third snare seems super important. The NBN card we cut is nonsense. Watch it hit a steel skin. That would be really cool. Thanks for the game. Yeah, I don't know how we beat Airblades. It's a 1 of. I don't think I'd have expected it either. Yeah, the Regenesis seemed good, but like it's 1 of. Can PE peek at the random grip card? It so far hasn't mattered, right? Like the last time that we did the peek at the hand, we saw the whole hand with the NBN card that we're playing 3 copies of. You're right. There's some cases it matters, and it could be really, really important. But arguably, the damage you get from PE basically unpeaks the card because it deletes the card, if you know what I mean. What are roller skates? Airblades. So Airblades is this card. We don't really care about the first text. We care about the text at the end that says during a run, you can prevent up to 3 net damage. It's a card from, what's it called? Sorry, I just want to say goodbye to just them. But that's the one. I'll go back to the page in a second. Yeah, being on game point definitely helps me jam. For what it's worth, like it's often the right play that if there's a bunch of seemingly defensive or even offensive upgrades in remote server, that you want to charge the server before there are cards on the server like agendas. Right? Like if he charged the server a turn ago while we were on low credits and trashed Angelique into Mavirus, he actually might win the game. But a lot of players don't run this if there's not an agenda on it. And a lot of times it is correct to disassemble a remote server or force the corporation to like pay 2 cards and 2 credits to protect an anoetic before it's actually protecting something of relevance. Hey, thanks, you too. We saw that really well at the CBI. A lot of players being like, I'm going to challenge this remote server before there's an agenda in it, after an agenda was scored, so that there's not another scoring window next turn. It's really, really smart. I propose that you try that playing the exact same deck in P. I bet you see people play differently because of that D. People will definitely play differently. I don't know what the change will be, but you're right. They'll definitely play differently. I think to some extent people will disrespect Hyoubu because it is Hyoubu, because it's a 3 credit economy card. I think you're not wrong about that. I'm interested to see what the change will be. But for what it's worth, like playing PE on JNet is also its own like science experiment where like you don't get good data playing PE on JNet ever because you're playing PE on JNet casual. All right, let's grind it again. It checks 2 boxes, anemone and snare. I don't think it does anemone because anemone is not winning counter. It's win res, but you can dodge the damage anyway, so it's the same. It's just more power counters. Greeny, Los, cool. Well, that hand's not great. Where are you live? Oh, Twitch or YouTube? channel is Metro. I should do the accent. I'm not gonna share the link because then you can watch my side of the game. I don't think that makes sense. You can find it after maybe. PE and assets are the hardest thing to get good data on JNet casual. Snare says on PE is the perfect deck to get data from JNet. Exactly. Or like Oppo research, whatever. Like it doesn't in criminal. We're gonna in NBN, not NBN. We're gonna mulligan that. It scares me when someone's like, "We streaming? What's the channel?" It's like, oh no, I gotta do this now. You're not gonna see. Luckily, my hand's stuck face down too. Best of luck. Have fun. All right, they're on Los 48, so not sure how consistent it's gonna be. Los as an ID is kind of in the Hyoubu camp. I think it's actually better than I would expect it to be in a lot of matchups. It's not bad. It's honestly not that bad. Just listening to you talk? Oh no, but then you're gonna hear all the cards, Green. You can't do it, Greenie. If you hear me talk, I'm gonna say I'm gonna put this agenda in the remote server, and then you're gonna be able to know it's an agenda in the remote server. That's exactly illegal. I promise I won't look at your hand. Oh no. There's no part of this that works. I narrate everything I do. You might just want to mute the stream. Yeah, sorry. What's more fun, I promise you, is just watch the game after, because then you get to see the game again from another eyes. I'm noob. I know, but I can't tell you what deck I'm playing, but it's really going to be matter what's in the remote server. You'll still beat me. I don't care about winning. I care about making an interesting match, right? But it's way more fun, I promise you. It's actually a treat to watch a game from the other side of the table. And especially as a new player, that's like the easiest way to learn more about the game. Hey, cheers. Los is like Asmari. It's the equivalent getting 1 credit turn on average. Less so, because Asmari, people play events and stuff, but not everyone plays ice. And the other criminal IDs are good. Cror, how's it going? Stream sniping is evil, says the man playing Reveal Tribal with stream merging. That's so true, yeah. Oh man, we love to be able to see hand at all points in time. Okay, so Tattoo Bull is like pretty bad into Los, funny enough. We have to ice up HQ to just have some respect into diversion. 48 cards means that's not going to be the opening hand as often as possible. Best of luck, have fun. How about that CBI? Cror, tell me about it. That's a really good tournament. I think we can open with a Spin Doctor. It's going to put us on, what, 7 cards in hand? We need to ice up HQ. Not a lot of good plays here. We probably do a Spin Doctor just to draw a better ice for HQ. Okay, well, that's fine too, I guess. A Virus on the table is totally fine. We could get the Rashida there. See what happens. I don't know if he's going to run everything. I just don't see us getting a Rashida out any other way for the next couple turns, so this is a bit of a high risk. There are precious few people playing Iceless or near Iceless. Modernly, yeah. At Worlds, no. There's a whole bunch of decks on like 3 ice. Oh, T400 off the top. We're going to play with some hand size. That's not good for us. All right, we get a Rashida though. Okay, cool. I wonder if the hand size is actually super important. It makes our play really, really bad. Okay, so we need to set up to score out the best card in the deck. So we can leave R&D open. He probably wants to pressure and force us to res some stuff. So this plays around the inside job. What do we want to get in here? I think we're just gonna put this in the server. We can discard one of these, probably no issue. We could get rid of this agenda. It's not that fine. We probably want to jam this next. Unfortunately, like we just need to get our money up so we don't get pressured out. If he runs HQ, we probably have to res. So we need to get our money up. The NBA identity that made the runner play hand open is good IRL stream sniping experience. Yes, but they have to have a tag, and that's hard. Do you think Flower Sermon is even worth it in this deck? It's pretty difficult to stick it, and the tempo gain is questionable. It's like worth trying because out of any deck's going to play it. I don't know though. It's been really cool so far. We've gotten like 2 credits off of it, and it's fed snares. It's hard to tell about this card because it's more about what it does to your opponent than what it does to us, right? I just noticed we were playing. Is this a deck on NRB? It's a custom build Cror. So far, we've got a couple flatlines. It's been okay. It's honestly been okay. I think with a hedge fund, we can do Flower Sermon Advance. They look like they're playing, they're only playing good cards. This T400 in Criminal is strange, but so far they're on track. They're doing well. So we can do hedge fund, Flower Sermon Advance. That's fine. We could go for the NGO front at 11 credits here. So we could do 3 to 3 is 6. It drops us to 5. We could go NGO Advance and wait for a turn. We could just push 2. I'm going to go for the early push. I don't know. I can't read what they're doing. They haven't ran yet, which is strange for Criminal, especially for Lows. Maybe they're afraid of the face checks in Jinteki, which is fair. Class Act? Okay. Cheswa, they're just setting up. Like, we really need to push it. He seems not to want to run a lot. So we can keep that in mind. Yeah, we got a complete image kill in the first game and then a kill on the table in the second one. All right, you ready? We're at 0. So far, Hyoubu's been 0. But now with a 6-card hand size, it's actually kind of tricky. This is nice to feed snares, for sure. R&D's wide open. This sort of playstyle where you just set up and hopefully that you can eclipse them is actually like very relevant. For us, it's a bit better. It's okay for us because we're playing more traps. So like we actually can win against a fully set up board abstractly. But sometimes I'm scared of this. If they get a good draw and they just set up, right? Like breakers obviously is an issue now. Twinning will come down sooner than later. Just click for 3 though. That's okay. 2 Angelique doesn't really do anything. We could Regenesis for tempo. I think we just do NGO front install advance. Unfortunately, the server's like not great. Like it doesn't punish a face check that bad. Like maybe we do 3 damage. Like if they haven't played programs, if he hasn't played programs, that's okay. This is on the cusp of being reasonable. I'd actually be okay jamming a 5-3. Nah, probably not. We need money. We just need him to run because he seems to be set up based on. We want to slow that down a bit. If we can snipe a program, we're in a good spot. He has a lot of cards in hand, though. Earthrise look at 3 is kind of sick. He's about 11 credits. Cheswa's not doing nothing. Diversion will be kind of bad. We duck most of it with Thimble Rig. Carmen coming down. Okay, so now sentries are a bit more interesting. Boomerang. We're going in. Wonder if we should protect the Mavirus. Like, Mavirus Angelique is really mean. Credit? So we might be able to trade Mavirus for a single net damage and not res anything. For me. So what's bad here? On 3 credits, it's actually 6 credits. So Anemone is for 5. It's not that bad. What would be a bad hit here? Like the outside being a Vampiranaza. So we can use an enemy here. I don't think we really need to because we can't capitalize on the cards in hand. And we'd rather use an enemy to set up an Angelique kill. Because ideally we do Anemone, Angelique into Angelique from hand. So I think we res nothing. We strand the Boomerang. We don't give Los value. And then we just pop NGO. I don't think we have to do Mavirus for 1 damage here. It could be something because he might have breakers in hand. I just don't think it's super relevant. But this is a really bad trade when we res this. And like we're just going to not res that ever. All right. Gain 8. Do we res Mavirus? No, we just need our money. Purge. Cool. Tattoo Bola. That's a bit better. Regenesis, unfortunately, is a bit useless. We can just let it camp in there. Ideally, the Vampiranaza is pretty good. I think we actually 4 Tempo Flower Sermon, so 1 credit. So what are we putting back? It's our choice. We need to feed him an agenda sooner than later. Spin Doctor is okay. We could have considered doing that first, honestly. Yeah, that might have been fine. I don't know what rhymes with green, so here's a spoon for green. I don't know what emoji you got access to. I think we can put a tattoo on top. So the question that's always hard to tell with the newer players, what they think about each, what's it called? Like double advanced card versus a single advanced card versus a not advanced card is something that different players based off of experience and their meta changes how soon they run. So I don't know if we jam like Angelique Regenesis, how soon they would consider running that. I think we might find out though. Is there any way that we can use... We can't use Flower Sermon to put a card in the bin. Oh, we could now, actually. We could actually use Flower Sermon and discard, but it's not great. Oh, Beans rhymes? Wait, that should have been obvious. Yeah, Beans rhymes. Daily Cast. Earthrise. They got lots of cards in hand. This MU is also quite nice if they're on Cheswa Rig, so they can get down like... They're not on Echelon Unity, it seems. Kurapira, all right. No free lunch. They have more money than it looks. Let's see if they charge us or not, right? I'd love to hit them with the Vampiranaza. But like whether you have to run an advanced card is always such an interesting question. We want to make sure we keep our money up because of snare, but this is the sort of thing where if he last click hits something nice, last click Vampiranaza feels good. How does green and bean rhyme? Like that. Actually, how do you say bean? All right, some damage. That actually will lower cards in hand. Is this potentially lethal? Yeah, this is lethal if he continues. That seems good. So we want to find a 5/3 here if he's going to jack out, because then we can do Regenesis with Anemone. It kind of shows I say it like Beam. So this is actually lethal if he accesses here. Continue. Okay. So we can throw out the Fuji. I think it's fine. We can also jam the Fuji on top of the next Angelique. That's fine too. So I think we will keep it. I think we'll throw out a Tattoo Bola. With Carmen, it's like Croupier, it's okay. So we'll res this, throw out a Tattoo Bola. So now if he accesses, the Angelique will flatline. If we were short credits, we can always remember to use Flower Sermon. Breaks us for 1, but if he continues, Angie dies. Jacks out. Oh, we could have thrown out the Fuji. Oh man, that would have been so sick. We should have. There's no way we can discard this. Oh man, we almost had it. Why would you not? Because I thought he would access and we would die anyways, which is right, but the Spin Doctor was 100% correct. Yeah, you know, that's fair. Yeah, that's a bummer. Okay. So I'm going to use this on his turn. If we had an Angelique too, oh, if we had a click compression, we could score at Angelique and shoot with the sniper, but we're 1 short of threat 3. Oh man, yeah, we goofed it. We could have been on game point. That's on us. Okay, we're gonna draw this card anyways. So 2. So we want to discard this. So this river seems safe. So we just want to get Fuji in the bin. So that means we can do Vampiranasa on R&D. I'm not sure if he did it, but it looked like you might have clicked no further action. Be careful, you need to res Angelique. I didn't click no further action. I waited. I know that if I click it, we have to res Angie. Yeah, for sure. Same with like Mavirus. Well, you don't have to res Mavirus. We did last time. But yeah, we don't want to take it. Yeah, we could have been on game point. That's very, very on us. Okay, so we want to discard this. We could also use Flower Sermon to easily discard it by just like overdrawing. We want to get some money up. I'll draw Hedge Fund Ice. That's enough, right? Ooh, that's really good to have with Flower Sermon. So I'm going to ice up at HQ once more. Because as far as I'm concerned, R&D is safe because it's a snare. So he has to spend most of his turn drawing here. Now, luckily, he has Earthrise Hotel. We're only in 2 still, yeah. Sick. But now he has to spend a lot of his turn drawing up. And then we get a Regenesis Fuji. It won't do the damage, but we'll be on game point. And then in theory, he has to run everything. Sure gamble, no cards in hand. Okay. We don't need a Flower Sermon here. Why not Ice Archives? We have no reason to. He has no reason to Ice Archives. To run Archives, excuse me. Cool. We discard a card here. Tattoo Bola is fine. I like all the other cards a bit more. I'm assuming if he's on this suite, he's on Shibboleth, and Shibboleth like really is not good into Vampiranasa. So Los has got 2 credits. We've got 2 credits. We're equally powerful. But now he is stocking up money, which is pretty good. Anything we put in their mode server, he has to consider running. There's the twinning. It doesn't have art for some reason, but that's okay. So what do we want to do here? We need to push into their mode server. We should have Flower Sermoned on his turn. I'm going to do it anyways. Standard procedure only works if you ran Anemone on the server is Anemone into Angelique into Fuji. That's probably pretty good. We don't need that. So we could put something in the server. Install Snare. I want to keep Snare because of the Flower Sermon, right? Because I think he's going to run R&D with the twinning. I think it's really important we keep a Snare in the hand for R&D runs. We don't have a lot of money. That's an issue. I think another Spin Doctor, if it baits a run, we're happy with it. We can run res behind 2 ice pretty happily. And then the question is, I think we get the Anemone here, but it is kind of expensive. I think this Anemone is not that important on 21 credits. We can trash this to save a credit and put this on server 3. Credit, I guess. That's shit. In theory, it's better to Hyoubu there, but because we didn't Flower Sermon on his turn, we technically should be at 4 counters because we could have looked at a card in hand. We could have peeped a card. Andrea, yeah, this is Hyoubu. It's not been getting a lot of money, but it has been doing its win condition, which is fine. Yeah, so if we used this on his turn, we would have been able to click to get value from Hyoubu. So that's on us. Forged. Ice HQ protecting 1 is a tattoo bola. Do we want to res it to give him 2 credits and have a tattoo bola? Yeah. So he's got 2 more credits. In theory, we have to watch out we don't overextend and we lose like a Vampire Nasa for 7. Like that is a cool play. That is uniquely low spate. Diversion of funds. That is okay. Yeah, this run's not going to be successful. He's also now resed a piece of ice, so we can res the Thimble Rig, no problem. So continue movement, swap, Vampy, continue approach, Thimble Rig, res. That will end the round. He doesn't have a decoder. I don't think we had to do anything there. Honestly, we're generously accelerating. Our pressure's been the stealth MVP. It's been so important, but we're only on 1. Like, it's weird. The Flower Sermon seems good. The Regenesis seems good, but our Agenda Suite's like kind of salad. GG? No, it's not GG. You're fine. You're fine. Wait, what? Wait. No, wait, you're fine. Why GG? There's no GG. It's just end the run. Yeah. Made me res stuff. It's totally fine. Unconcede. How do you reset the game? Yeah, you don't need that. You have good money. Okay. No, you don't concede there. That's totally fine. Like, obviously they're playing from behind on points, but they have like 21 credits. They're building a 21. Like, they can win this very easily. You have 6 agendas? Yeah. No, it's fine. / clear win. Okay. Yeah. You're soon going to have all your breakers multi-axis and a lot of money. You're in a good spot. Just need to not flatline. You can do it. Flyer line. You can do it for sure. Undo click will also pull it back. Okay. Swap Thimble Rig. Thimble Rig is fine. This is too late to do it on his turn. That's fine. We have Zonder then goes and wins next turn. I don't know if we will, honestly. This user's been a bit salty. They seem friendly. They wanted to watch the stream. They seem pretty friendly. How's it going, Bubba Cat? I think we're gonna pop the Spin Doctor so we get a play because we need to set up a kill play. But if he keeps his hand up, like he can totally do something here. I'm gonna bring one Mavirus back. I'm gonna bring a hedge fund back. Didn't make a successful run, so we can't stand a procedure. We'll res with this Spin Doctor. He didn't run this, which is quite interesting. Now, if we grind him into Angelique Vampire Nasa, I think that's good enough for us. Obviously, it eats us Angelique, but we have another one. We have to remember that we have Angelique into Complete Image, but he needs to score 3 points. Hyoubu and Complete Image, we can't. It's not really threat 3. But you're right. If we had Hyoubu into... no, we do Angelique into Hyoubu to Complete Image. There's a 50% chance of winning the game. Unfortunately, he doesn't have agendas, so he's actually totally safe to Complete Image. Like, literally being 6-0 is better than being 6-3. It's weird. Yeah, but this is not threat 3 text, despite she has a really nice window here to change it. Carmen into Saisantan, that's good. We don't have to ice R&D, but we can. We have a credit problem. We can't play standard. Hatchibola is pretty good. He will likely break it with Shezwa, so it's just an econ card. I don't know what we discard here. It's like maybe the Spin Doctor? No, that's messed up. Standard Procedures, though, is a really good economy card. And we need it for that. I'm throwing out a Spin Doctor. This, don't at me. It's not threat 3. Where's the second I vote with Andre Ferrata? Yeah, make it threat. Changing Complete Image to threat 3 changes its balance. Yeah, I'm so worried about that. Genuinely, maybe, but like, yeah, no, I know. It obviously makes the card way better. I would have loved that to work like Complete Image. I would count your opponent's points, not any players. That's bad because it like incentivizes turtling, right? Like obviously you can win the game, but it's good that like threat accelerates the game regardless of what's going on. So they have a Shibboleth. We can do 4 damage to him. That won't be lethal. It kind of expends our load. I don't want to res the anemone because we want to keep it for when it matters. But this is somewhat expensive. Had to blow into Los is kind of interesting. Could be 2 credits for both players on every round. I know. But what can we do? Yeah, maybe that's actually really, we shouldn't do that. So this is really expensive. This is up to 7 credits. When it comes to Ashes cards, I'm wary making anything more powerful. All right. Okay, so we're going to res the Angie. She will do 2 damage. Still can't complete image. You can kill Angelique, you can do 4 damage. It's not lethal. Oh my god, it would have been lethal. Oh my god, we punted lethal because we had Anemone into Angie from hand. Oh, piss. This is why you don't concede. Yeah, because we could have killed the second Angie, you're right. Because this would have done 2+4. Oh, that's on us. Hermes is good to get rid of. Another crew appears, so they're in 2 of breakers. That's good. Oh, absolute monkey. Thanks for the game. Gearjaw, great for the info on the bot. Every time I feel like I learn something new and get a little better. Yo, reviewing your game, especially from the other side, is so important. Play with friends, play on stream. This stuff is so good. Oh, yeah, we punted. It's okay. We can come back. Oh, okay. That's deflating. Oh, that's okay. Hey, good game. Yeah, that's a bummer. Okay. I catch around. All right, well, we could add a lethal there if they didn't jack out. If they jacked out, we would have got a Rashida. If they had a Rashida, we would see deeper into our deck. It takes us a while to actually get an agenda on the table, and that's a problem. Like, we have to just feed them a 5/3. Like, he has to just get a 5/3 so we can turn on complete image. And there's not that many in the deck. But genuinely, we're up 3 credits. Los did better than us. I don't think the deck is... It could be better. You just assume you did miss lethal? Yeah. If we assume we did miss lethal, it's fine. How are we doing on time? We've been streaming for about 3 hours. Let's do at least 1 more game. Your note about running after Corp just drew a bunch makes sense. Also, deconstructing the server instead of waiting for you to put an agenda is really quick for me. Yes, that was really good in our matchup. If you deconstruct the server, you don't lose the server I clearly built. 3-0 Hyoubu, someone would CO with this deck now. Oh man. At some point, Jinteki, like mid-range. Okay, this is going to be not great. It's like a Maori deck or a mulch deck. It's 62 cards. We're playing against a tier 1 deck. Be scared. I know what Tron plays. It's probably Maori. I know he's a big Maw enjoyer. Hey, best of luck. Have fun. Okay, opening hand. Subliminal is pretty rough into host she's going to be running. Early Tatubola, early Fuji, not great. But there's a chance that we just do like Rashida Tatubola and say, what are you going to do turn 1? And then Manhar doesn't do it. Boomerang and Botulus does. That's okay. Slap stop his deck. Yeah, 62 reasons Maori, yeah, for sure. This is just big hosh. This is not wise. Oh, it got worse. It got worse. Okay. I'm not playing the Subliminal. Why? Because look at our hand, right? And once they see that, they should really sniff some trouble. Hit a Fuji here. Subliminal, sick. That makes you run HQ real bad. Run HQ again, run HQ again. You see a Subliminal, something's messed up. There has to be points in there. We're still in a bad spot. At least we can get ice here. Okay, we found the spider. Since you judge, brackets nerd, is it legal to ask my opponent how many cards are in their deck? Yes, you can count. 100% it's legal. You should. It's very, very important. Constantly look at your opponent's deck. Even before game, I always ask my opponent how many cards in their deck. And that's really important in a very subtle way. Knowing that you're playing against like, and this happens, reality plus 49 versus reality plus 44 changes how many agendas are in their deck and changes like your win con. Definitely ask. I always say if I can how many cards are in my deck because I double sleeve my decks so they look absurd. But 100% before the game, always ask. And at any point during the game, you can ask. I think we just do Subliminal. Tatubola on HQ is good enough. Do we have a play? No, we don't have a play. So I think we do Anansi R&D. Oh, we have a click left. Hold on. We should have done this in a different order. Don't make a big deal about this. They have a buzzsaw. You see, you do that first and then you install your high strength code gate. Clicking for a standard credit? I didn't. Did I? Oh my god, did I do one on first turn? Absolute schmuck, I did that on first turn. And you do that anyways on first click so you know if they have a Botulus and then you understand whether you should make the Rashida play. This should be at 2. That's on us. Yeah, but no, you gotta chew me out on that. That's important. Why is JNet doing this? What does it say down there? Result is available. Use up and down arrow keys to navigate. What is that text? Did we enter the matrix? What is that text about? Is this just like a Hyoubu power? We got an extra Subliminal credit. Boom. Click, let's card it. So they set up Mystic Miami twinning. We know that they have in the hand a Buzzsaw. The number of cards in Grip HQ stack and heap archives are all open information. It's not great form to ask your opponent to count their deck, but it's possible. I don't think it's not great form, Cror. I think that's super important. We need to find a play. Be cool. Be cool. Shouldn't the snap play that? Because we can use that to help discard our hand. Draw once. Remember how I said you don't play this click one? Yeah, that's why. So we should discard a lot of agendas here. We can set a Bacterial Fuji in the bin, honestly. That might get him. And then we have Standard Procedure Angelique. Yeah, let's just play an RH deck. Should just be an RH deck, let's be honest. The agenda suite would be better. You just don't play Fire Sermon. You play 2 more Regenesis or something. Draw. You think what I'm thinking? We've used Hyoubu, so we don't actually want to hit that. So we can put this in the remote server. He has a Buzzsaw, that's all we know. So I think we throw out Back Pro Fuji. Back Pro. Single sleeve, but a lot of people did ask. It was a huge double sleeved. You probably can spec that element to remove it from the markup so it stops the pending stuff. Well, hi. We saw behind the curtain and you want to close the curtain? Yeah, they didn't run archives. That makes a lot of sense. I'm still going to do that. I disagree it's not good form to ask your opponent to count cards. It's often relevant to matchup. Yeah, I ask pretty consistently. I don't think it's bad form. I double sleeve 74 op. It's a beast. Every game against Hosh, how many cards in your deck? Yeah, that's my opener too. I thought Andre wanted to play 3-pointers to max 3 in a deck. Bacterial and Fuji? Yeah, we do. But we have like 2 Flower Sermons because we wanted to try because of Hyoubu, and then 1 Regenesis, which makes sense. Kagoslab, I don't think the Agenda Suite is like super optimal, but it's also like, it's been fun because we get to try a lot of stuff and see what works. So far, it's been overall working. I had to bring 2 deck boxes to fit a 74 card op. I guess boulders fit those. All right, we're running HQ here. Whoa, Sai Santan could be sick. We'll just give the old Tatty. Okay, it is annoying me, but that's fine. When you're playing open deck list, doesn't it say the number of cards? Yeah, but you're still allowed to ask. They had that in hand. We knew that. Okay, NGO front. We could install advance behind a tattoo bullet. It's like doesn't make a play. But it is somewhat relevant to our interest. Better play might be Spin Doctor, install advance. Genuinely, because I don't think we need 8 credits. We just need like him to do something. We have to protect HQ. This is also fine. We saw Andre play a double sleeve monster. It was big Hosh of a deck. Shuffling is funky. Yeah, I played like 100 card Hosh, except I don't double sleeve. I do a sleeve with 2 Netrunner cards in it, just so I don't run into opacity issues. Push the Sermon. I'd be a bit scared too. I think at this point he's probably found like this deck usually runs multiple tricks. We can let him trash this. I honestly don't care. He doesn't have a lot of money. Push the Sermon might have been correct. I want to get 1 more piece of ice. I just have to respect the Paladin Puemo. Sorry, the twinning, but admittedly, yeah, pushing the Sermon does respect it. I think the dog here caught the car and doesn't know what to do with it. Right, I don't think Tron thought he would be able to trash the Spin Doctor here. 0 credits. Love to see it. That's worse than double sleeving? Yes. Technically, yes. Threw at a maw. Okay. He's having an economy crisis. 1 Mystic Miami puts him back in the game, though. So here we have to throw out a card, draw 3, gain 3. Oh, why is it like this? Two barriers, stacking barriers. It's cool. All the cool kids do it. We have to make a play here. Installing NGO front naked is pretty bad. We could have standard procedured first. I think we want to keep standard procedure for the complete image turn because that's how we win. I genuinely don't know what to do here last click. I guess Angie in the server, right? But ideally we do like standard Angie complete. That's our like win con. Shit. Naked NGO? Naked snare. Yeah, I figured a line. That's Gutsy straining the Bacterial? Yeah, it's how you have to play these sort of decks, right? Like, he's not on game point. If he steals the Bacterial, he's in a bad spot. Oh, one Steel Skin down is super important. Having Taka to boost Buzzsaw always feels so sad. Yeah, he did. He had to, right? Cleaver, uh-oh. Remote server is compromised. Biobans. He has a lot of cards in hand. All right, well, he beat the Regenesis here. There's no way around that. I didn't think this would go like this. It's not good for us. Install something absurd. Okay, that's not that absurd. Bacterial Program, looking at the top 7. All right. All right. Choose a card to discard. So throwing out another Bacterial is not good here. Like, ideally, we throw out a Fuji, but we don't have that technology available. He needs to steal all 3 pointers so we can complete image him, all according to plan. Yes. But now he's going to have 8 cards in hand down to 5 cards in hand. Which, like, we've done the complete image match. With Angelique, it's a 1 and 4 into 1 and 3 into 1 and 2. Which is a third of a quarter, a half of a third of a quarter. That's pretty bad. Imagine if this is YDL punitive. I know. And, like, just put in a bad ID. Nobody sees it coming. Choose a card to discard. We don't have a shuffle coming up. I think it needs to hit the snare here. We're not going to discard anything. So we'll just bottom 2 backs. Oh, to HQ? I don't think we want to draw any of these. Seisenton seems good, though. Vampire Nasa also seems fine. Tithe seems fine. So back pro, we have to remember we have agendas 5 down. We have no shuffle coming up between then and now. We're just going to live with that life. Okay. Run snare. Not that good for us because cards. I think he just had to play that thing because Mystic was full, so he just made that run anyways. There's like some extent you want to play around Subliminal. 0. He loves 0. 0's pretty cool. That's the second Maw. So he still doesn't have that much credits, but the daily cast is good. Okay. So we have to hope that he has multiple of the same card in hand. Just putting out an official OP hat. You shouldn't be worried about asking about deck size or cards in deck at a specific point in time, but message too long. Okay, so we can do standard procedure into Angelique into complete image. It's super unlikely, but if he has doubles, we've seen Steel Skins, we've seen 1. I think we want to play as the econ play anyways, though. So we're just going to say event. So he has Maw, Divide and Conquer. Oh yeah, he plays 3 Divide and Conquer. Pinhole, Threading, DJ Fender's Cleaver. So we get a click there. So the only play is like draw, Seisenton Archives, throw out Fuji, right? Your opponent is routinely asking you to count. You might want to call Judge for slow play. Yes. But then you can also just put a dice on top of it, so it's not slow play. Oh, we throw 2 cards here. I messed that up. Yeah, we didn't have to draw there. We could have clicked for credit. Okay, notepad.exe, hold on. Maw, Divide and Conquer, Pinhole, Threading, DJ, Cleaver. Maw, Divide and Conquer, Pinhole, DJ, Cleaver. Yeah, okay. Maw. I'm just gonna open up Notepad. Y'all, can you help? Can we play this together? I don't have a pencil and paper. Maw, Divide and Conquer. Just lost Maw, so Divide and Conquer, Pinhole, Threading, DJ Fender's Cleaver. And obviously a fair few unknown cards. Okay, that's an unknown card. We love those. Okay. Well, res is pretty pricey. Not that bad. With Trickster Taka, it's 2. Tattoo Bolo for Tithe, we'll take it. Divine Conquer Cleaver, sorry, you're too fast. Yeah, that's the problem usually. Mind you, complete image is trashable. Angelique, no! No! Complete image, no! No! Our beautiful win condition! Well, we're cooked. We had a good run. We should have finished the stream a bit ago. Carbon crowdfunding. That was bad. That was really bad very quickly. Complete image has a trash cost. It would just be broken if the runner can't interact with it. Yep. Yeah, let's say that. It's okay. Divine Conquer is gone. So we know Cleaver, DJ Fenris is going to come down. Cleaver, DJ Fenris, Pinel Threading. We're still like winning. I need the Flower Servant to fill up HQ with non-combo pieces. Yeah, I know. Okay. Okay, it's fine. We're on 4 points. It's fine. We've lost 2 Spin Doctors. One of them was my choice, I think. We've lost Angelique. Raindrops into an Anansi. Wait. This is important. I think the next 2 cards are both agendas. Step 1, score 4-2. Yeah, I know, and that still doesn't win us the game. This is gonna be good. Yeah. So he can see 3 cards. So we actually have to be careful here. Yeah, we actually have to be careful here. This sucks. We have no shuffle for a minute. So we'll draw the NGO because we need to play it behind this terrible server. Tithe them a virus, NGO. Yeah, I guess we do virus, tithe, NGO. We can draw a card here. If we don't, he sees 3, trashes them, might come back, probably doesn't come back. If we draw, he steals 1. Yeah, I know. If he steals a back pro, are we really worried about it? Like, it might be the thing we need to come back into the game. Let's just hope that he doesn't use a twinning because this is a very bad twinning access. Oh, it's actually a good twinning access. Surely being on game point will come back to bite us. Yeah, the draw here means that like you probably should C3 with the twinning. Yeah, bossing Feed Bacteria. I'm maybe on the fence of Feed Bacteria because he's going to redraw 3 cards here. We don't actually have a window. We lost Pinel, Cleaver, Sure Gamble. So the only card we know is DJ Fenris. Oh, he lost another. A Divide and Conquer. Yeah, it's only DJ Fenris. Purge. Okay. He did C3. So Mavirus is going to go down. NGO is going to go down. He's going to see a Tithe. So we're top decking Tithe into 2 5/3 agendas, which means like if he just eats it through the Nancy again, that's not going to do enough. Oh man, it's close. Unfortunately, this sort of Mari deck that has 67 cards has a fair bit of card draw and can just hit 0 with like Abandon. It's going to be hard to kill with no complete images. 1 more Spin Doctors are only recursion. We are kind of cooked. Unless we have a good sentry on their mode server, which doesn't seem likely. He hasn't lost a killer yet, right? No. Losing to Kobe's good. Moshing, Hannah, Katurga. 0. So we still know there's a DJ Fenris. It's in hand. Daily cast is down. 4 cards. We're drawing Tithe. Okay. Got to figure out what to do there. I'm going to assume R&D is safe. He hasn't ran this yet. It'd be kind of cool for us, but our money is in a pretty poorly. We could do install advance. This install advance looks like an NGO front. He's seen, however, 2 NGO fronts. Do you think this is the play? It looks like an NGO front. Like we wouldn't score out on 5 credits. I think we have to make risky lines because like we're in a bad spot. But like he's gonna sweep HQ next. So like this looks like an agenda. Like it looks like an NGO front. Yeah, I know. Hopefully he reads as an NGO front. Some players like, you know, even if it's an NGO front, I can spend the click to check but the difference is this could be 11 credits and then we could Resonant Anansi here. So this is a respect play. He will check it. I'm not sure. Maybe. The thing is, if it's an NGO front, like we throw him into an Anansi. Oh, that's not good for us. Oh, that's really good. We did it. We did the thing. Because we probably lost that on HQ. Oh, we'll res a Tithe here. The Tithe gives him 2 cards. It gives us a card and it breaks even. No, that's bad. Continue. I'm gonna ask continue so that it makes it even look like more like an NGO front. Okay. So we're not gonna res. Yeah, if it wasn't a raindrops, we'd res the Tithe. The raindrops means that it's not worth it. It's negative tempo. Sort of. So hopefully he dumps the twinning into this. He does. Okay, Vampy, Tattoo, Tithe. Yeah. He might check it now, but like it really looks like an NGO front on 3 credits. At least we can get the tattoo bola to like make us money. We really need the flower servant too. It doesn't play around twinning that well. It really doesn't play around twinning that well. Please don't check the snare now when we're on 3 credits. Imagine we kept the snare in hand. Like, it is a line. I guess we had an ugly turn there, but I think we overdrew on one turn. We scheduled it poorly. He's thinking. I think as a runner, you check the server just because he can't res much either ice. But if it's an NGO front, you do res an Anansi here, right? He's checking it. But if it was an NGO, you eat an Anansi here. Maybe that's a fine trade. Could you have set up the bacterial as a second twinning card to try and put a snare on top for the kill? Yes. I think there's a chance that feeding the bacterial was the right play. But bacterial into snare I don't think was lethal. Because I think he had like 8 cards in hand or something. Yeah, there's some cases that you're punished here. Unfortunately, we're going to be the ones punished. Oh, he actually boosted strength. Cool. I guess the Vampire. Bummer. He thought about it, though. He did think about it. We might have got away with that. We'd be actually pretty good as NGO friend to Nancy. Or like a Sai Santan would have been disgusting there as well. Right? Like, there are some risks there. I don't think that was the easiest run to make. The problem now is we're going to draw back pros, and we're going to draw 2 back pros in a row. Banhar is down. That's fine. Palisade for 1 net damage is totally fair. So this breaks a Nancy lock. We just need to get enough money to res stuff. I'm going to just do credit here. I need to review the tape. There's a chance that feeding a snare was the right play, that we could have done back prone to snare. Hyoubu? Oh, fuck. Hey. Oh, it's too late because they drew. Yeah, I forgot about Hyoubu. We could have been on 4. Yeah, we should have hit the Hyoubu button. Don't click for credit. It's hard to break that. It's just because like our ability is so not relevant for like 95% of the game. We just forget that it's there. Like it's like when you look down and you see your epiphany tokens. You're like, oh wait, that's cool. Ah, Turbine's here. We're cooked. Yeah. So here we need to set up. Like, he has so much card draw. There's the Fenris, so we know nothing about the hand. He's going to run HQ. And now it's very likely we lose. The only way we don't lose is if he accesses all 3 of those. Well, that's game. Break for 2. Okay. We've hit the turbine inevitability. I'm genuinely getting tired of this breaker suite. Fire all. Nice. So we have to whiff on all 3 accesses. The twinning, if he's tracking, he knows these are 2 cards that we ducked under the Nazi and didn't draw, so almost definitely one of them is an agenda. So he should put the twinning into this. Raindrops or Steelskin? Both of them are bad for us. I think Steelskin's worse. Tithe? Wait, he didn't. Oh, wait a second. I think with card tracking, you should. You definitely should with card tracking, right? Like, clearly with the Nazi we didn't draw. Something was... Oh, fuck. Shit. All right, so we have no attitude adjustment. We have 1 spin doctor. I'm going to draw. This is obviously not right. Ah, that's something. He will leave this as NGO this time? Yeah, but now we've drawn. And so we do install advance. It's too late because we drew, but I think you're right that we do this. Why did I throw out that agenda? Because we're playing from behind. Yeah, a virus and server and tithe on R&D. I don't think we care about R&D. You can't go through in a non-C. This is the server we need to keep him out because this cost him like 2 to break and he gets a DJ Fenris Steve. We can't keep cards in hand. Like, we have to get cards out of hand because he's going to be running DJ Steve every turn. So yeah, we have to do that. Like, this costs 1 credit because Vampire Nasa Trickster Taka. 1720s, 3149 is very ugly. Choose, okay. Joke never gets old. Buy bands, draw 2. Echelon, nice. Tithe. Tattoo? Tattoo? Be cool, be cool, be cool, be cool. Now though, he has to run remote server. Like there's, yeah, raindrops. That's game. There's no reason not to when you have all your breakers. We don't have to res anything here. Yep, just too slow. Eventually, Anarchs get this Doom Rig down, and then Ice doesn't matter. And unfortunately, if we don't have complete image or damage stuff, the game actually matters. Good game. Yeah, that sweep where he got rid of the complete image, like obviously you saw our win condition leave our body. You can pinpoint the exact moment where that goes. But I think we did mess up some lines. We probably should have realized that this late game inevitability is coming, that we had to feed another back pro. Oh my god. Like the worst. Everything was gone. Yeah, ask for access was probably correct there, but there's no punishment. Is turbine an issue? Should it be 5 influence? I don't know. I'm not sure. It's like the fixed breaker swing. There's just not a lot of ice that punishes them that hard. And then once the turbine is up, they punish them not at all. And so it just feels like kind of similarly to like Rozeki, where if you get to a late game, right, like you just can't win off of ice. So this is why you see decks with like defensive upgrades, but kind of want to go faster than this. Like what turn is this? Like 14, 15? We didn't have 2 high tempo turns though for a while. Turn 10 actually. Whoa, that's not even that slow. Turbine, yeah, eventually turbine will be banned. It's only a matter of time. Turn 10. Yeah, that's faster than I thought it'd be. Yeah, that's actually kind of fast. Admittedly too, like in this matchup, they had an extra 17 cards, which kind of changes how the game goes, considering they have 17 cards left in their deck, but he can just like full send it all the time. It should be 2 MU. This is the thing that I don't love, right? I don't love course correcting cards as additional MU because I think it just makes the game less interesting. Because if this card was 2 MU, okay, maybe it has an impact on things like Fermenter. I don't think he's playing Fermenter, but then like, okay, you just see every breaker suite is now only this and nothing else. Because it's still probably worth running. You know what I mean? Like adding MU to the cards just means that you make less choices. It's slightly restrictive on the choices for sure, but you know what I mean. Yeah, exactly. I think MU is the most boring balancing option because it just says, oh, it's still worth playing. I'll just pay less of the card pool. Like you literally ban more cards that are not turbined by adding MU to cards. Botchless impact, this deck doesn't have botchless nor need botchless. There's some impact to that, but I do think most of the balancing there is based off of just making the game less interesting. Oh, he's on Fermenter. I had a tough time finding my killer. I was milling harder than I usually like. I'm on Fermenter, but with Mom, not super concerned. Yo, Tehran, I thought there's one turn that in a remote server, like clearly we're just hope it's NGO front look, that maybe you would respect NGO front into like Saisentan on the remote or a Nancy on the remote. You didn't. I don't know if it's right. It worked out for you. I think it's probably right. Right? Like we res the Anansi, you still get in, but if it's an NGO front into Anansi, maybe that's okay for us. I was thinking about the NGO front. Yeah. It was clear that you paused during the run, so I was like really hoping that it was an NGO front, that you were considering it. Yeah, you just played Tokobi there. I ended up thinking way more because you asked. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good game. We had points in archives. The turn that you buy up bans archives too. Like I think it was just you trying to get Mystic value because Mystic was like cooked. I don't know if you expected Regenesis, but you did obviously shut down Bacterial Regenesis, and it broke that up pretty hard. It's the drip, yo. Ban the drip. Yeah. All these companions can go. Oh, sorry that we're getting salty on the last game because we lose it, but I'm not actually salty. Maybe if the turn went faster would sell NGO better. Yes. And I think that's a huge skill, is understanding how to play every single top deck. Like if we did not pause and we just went install advance, it clearly looks like an NGO front when there's no consideration. And I think that's a really hard skill to develop as a Netrunner player, to be able to like play every single top deck so that you give out no information. The fact that we pause for a really long time makes no sense in context that's an NGO front. And that's such a huge thing. That's really hard to be like, oh, what do I do here? If you have an NGO front, you just jam the NGO front. So like we should just play that more confidently. It's a really hard line to wrap your head around. There would be a Regenesis at some point, and the Baya bans made me feel more comfortable hitting archives, given I got the cards of a surprise double Fuji or something. Were you expecting it? Like I was super surprised that you would expect that sort of bin damage in Hyoubu. The dream is over, but the final analysis, would this work better in another ID? Yes. I think if we played RH, the downside would be maybe more people would expect us to be putting shit in archives. I think complete image, is it even better than like double advancing and doing to Neurospike? I don't know. I think overall, the ability on no game got us more than 5 credits, and that stinks. That there's almost no way that this would not be better in a different ID. The difference is how do people play around this, and for what it's worth, there's a lack of how do people play around Hyoubu, that they can just get around and do generalist stuff and it's fine. So maybe if we play PE, they play different. I think we'd have to do testing for sure. When I'm playing against you on stream, I assume someone said something about Arkham and you got derailed. If you ever need time to think, you just, you just mention Arkham in chat, and so you can think about your turn all you want. There would be Regenesis at some point. I read that. I have no idea what to expect from Hyoubu, but I did mostly know your list already. Ah, beans. Okay, yeah. That's totally fair. I don't have to type in chat. Good game, Tron. Awesome. Okay, I think that's gonna be it for the stream today. I think Hyoubu was actually like, not so much the ID was fun, but the deck around it was actually legitimately fun. And I don't know if I'd bring that to competitive event, but there are board states where if you have 3 cards in hand, right? Like if you can consistently get people to 3 cards in hand, it is a 16% chance to win. It's higher with Angelique. It's a 50% chance to win. I think that's kind of cool. I think the fact that she's a reveal card doesn't functionally matter because you win. But yeah. What investigators do you recommend for Scarlet Keys? Kat, I don't know if you're just doing this as a joke or not, but I can answer that. If it's a real question, I'll answer it. If it's just to talk about Arkham, yeah, you proved your point. It works. Next time, Isowak, I'd rather not. I'd rather not. Did I hear you say Arkham? Yes. How's it going, Coke? Maybe adding some absurd strength ice to the turbine. Cardpool is some sort of answer for turbine. Yes, but then we just do ice creep, which I don't think the game wants, right? Like, issue is like maybe these cards have to be coming in at a lower strength. Like 2 strength is cool because then the 4 strength breakpoint and the 5 strength breakpoint are relevant. Like I just feel like 3 was too much of a reference to original Netrunner and not anything else. Buzzsaw's also so weird in like System Gateway because there's not any ice that's above 3 strength code gates, I don't think. Am I wrong about that? Buzzsaw just runs through System Gateway. Okay, just to answer the arc question really quickly. So mild spoilers. But Scarlet Key is not my favorite campaign, but it has a mechanic called what's it called, decoys and exposing stuff, and it is a mechanic that breaks up a lot of the standard play pattern of Arkham, in which like you have to find things, you have to like spend actions to either do any of the base tests, so damage works, clue works, stuff like that, to expose things in the shadows. Whenever you expose a card in the shadows, you flip it up. Sometimes it's a decoy, it does nothing, or if it's an enemy, it spawns on top of you. So there's a lot of scenarios where the enemies don't show up. You have to find the enemies, and then there's a lot of scenarios where you just have to reveal decoy cards over and over again at tedium. The rules around decoys are poorly explained in general, which I don't love. But the big thing, if you really, really want to like stomp through Scarlet Keys, if you can get any investigator that can instant, fast, guaranteed, any of those options, get a clue, evade an enemy, or do a single damage, you can basically bypass the restriction that is taxing you out on decoys. So for instance, if you have the core set, Agnes is a really good opening thing, because if you take any sort of horror at instant speed, you can do a damage to an enemy at your location. And this damage will target decoys. So as long as you do something that takes, a horror, which there's a bunch of ways to do that in Agnes. Agnes is already really good. You can just flip a decoy over. That's a really good starting spot point. If I'm not mistaken too, not that you need another reason to play him, but Rex finds another clue as an additional effect. So if you investigate, you can actually flip 2 decoys, if I'm not mistaken. So if you succeed a test by 2 or more, the first one can do a decoy. And then because this is an after you succeed test, I don't believe it's attached to the test itself. So it's a separate event. So you can actually discover if that one doesn't find you the thing you want, you can do a different decoy, or the first one can get you a clue. The second one can give you a decoy, stuff like that. So anything that does fast stuff like that is really, really good. Anything with it's unfortunately too, because anybody that just has a really strong stat is a really good thing to slam into the Scarlet Keys. I'm not sure I'd be the fastest to recommend Kamani, but I think Kamani is just absurdly good. But like the fact that they have a 5 is really good because you're going to be doing constant base tests over and over again. You'll just be like, evade a decoy. Okay, evade a decoy. Okay, play a card. And so just having a 5 stat is really important because you're going to be doing a lot of successive tests, some that like don't do anything. So anytime that you can attach something to that success is really good for Scarlet Keys. XKCD 356. What am I walking into? Thanks, Andre. Doing Scarlet Keys next. Yeah, I got nerd sniped, didn't I? I got nerd sniped really bad. Nerds love to be nerd sniped, though. There's a certain type of brain that's easily disabled. If you showed an interesting problem, it involuntarily drops everything else to work on it. That has led me to invent a new sport, nerd sniping. See this, that site physicist crossing the road? Hey, on this infinite grid of ideal 1 ohm resistors, what's the equivalent resistance between the 2 marked nodes? Interesting. Oh no, come on, it's fun. Yeah, nerd sniping is really great. I first saw this problem on the Google Labs aptitude test. A professor and I fill the blackboard without getting anywhere. Have fun. Oh, you can't see the hover over text. Because the hunt, oh yeah, there's also some tech cards too that are really nice for this. So, okay, this is a bit deeper. It's going to spoil a bit more about the mechanics. Tune out for 5 seconds in a moment. But any card that gets around spawn rules actually breaks in the Shadows abilities. So like one of my favorite cards is Kick the Hornet's Nest. So Kick the Hornet's Nest, unfortunately, doesn't have art here. It spawns an enemy. So it says search the top 9 cards in the counter deck for a non-elite enemy and spawn and engage with you. Discover one clue at your location, gain X resources. So firstly, you can do things in the shadows with this, but the enemy will spawn on you. Where does it say that? Yeah, spawn it and engage with you. So there's a whole bunch of frustrating enemies in all across Scarlet Keys that when you draw them, they don't spawn on you, they spawn in the shadows, and then you have to go find them. So anything that spawns enemies directly engaged with you bypasses that entire thing, which for some scenarios is like the majority of what you're doing in the scenarios. The Guardian on the Hunt is a very similar idea. So you don't have to like mess around and find them. You just be like, ha, you're on me, and you break the whole shadows thing. Yeah. So it's pretty good. Concealed is the name, yeah. I feel like Turbine's kind of fine in startup where there's no simulchip SMCs, though, to talk about shaper programs in isolation. I don't know enough about modern startup, Ryan, so I'm not totally sure. But probably, I could see it. Anywho, that's all for today. We'll be back on Thursday. I think Pat will be joining me. I think I'm going to be working on a video in the next couple days to come out next week talking about Ashes Remastered. Again, we mentioned this early on the stream, but the remastered edition of Ashes should be up relatively soon. You can pre-order it. What does that mean? It just means the cards are going to be reprinted with the Netrunner logo back. So if you have clear sleeves and this has been goofing you up because there's a disparity between old cards and new cards, this can be rectified. Either for the price, which if you're getting to the game, you can buy the cards if you want, or there's a product exchange program. So if you're frustrated with the situation, NSG will swap your cards, the new for old, free of charge. I don't even think you have to sell the old ones in, but that is a really ridiculous thing to offer, and power to them. That's pretty cool. I think we're gonna do a video where we just go through Ashes and talk about if we had to remaster it, what we would do. Hopefully that's not seen as a slight. I think Ashes, there's a lot to learn about it, but it's a fun thing to look back at a set and be like, what little thing can we change about this to make this like relevant? New card backs and updated complete image text. I'm sure of it. I tried to convince Jeff, but who knows? On that note, of course, we spent most of the weekend streaming the CBI. I will be joining you. Fantastic. The Circuit Breaker Invitational was absolute fire. It was a 2-day event. We got to do the streaming. It's up on twitch.tv/nullsignalnetrunner. You can watch it either day 1 or the finals. They are labeled. Fantastic. Are they labeled properly? Yeah, I think they are. These eventually will be on YouTube. Give them a watch. It's actually really good Netrunner, and a lot of great people on the mic. It's fascinating how Null Signal still operates. They're a nonprofit. They don't have to make profit, so they can do wild stuff like that, which is fine because they just want people to enjoy the game and get the most out of the game, and so they don't need to make money, so they can do stuff like this. It's sick. Project Vashon really fixable without stripping its core point? No. That was one of the ones that you really have to go the way to change the text. Take all the drip out? Sort of. Jason, how's it going, by the way? I want to put the companions on 1. If they hit 1 at the end of the turn, they hurt you. And then we'll make Keiko so you can avoid 1 companion's text a turn. I think that's how you have to make the companions good. Make them when they hit 1 at the end of the turn, they hurt you. That's the only way. Because then they're fun. I think they'd genuinely be fun if Paladin Puemo ripped up your board if she ended with 1 credit. Do you think that's wrong? Because I think that's the only way. Like, that makes it more fun and more anarch. And then you can retool Keiko to not be a 1 credit per turn card, which is obviously pretty egregious. So I would make this like you can ignore the end of turn clause on 1 companion a turn. I don't know if that's good because like probably you wouldn't play Keiko. Like I think Keiko should be a support piece to play the companions and make the companions more mid-range flexible, but at the cost of playing a better console. So I'm hoping people don't play Keiko and then the companions just kind of wreck people every once in a while, especially when they accidentally steal an agenda and Paladin Puemo goes off. Right? Like I want you to steal an agenda and be like, shit, my companions. Like I want that to happen more as opposed to I steal an agenda. I just got more tempo. Anyways, we haven't tested any of this, so there are going to be some bad ideas, but it's kind of just fun to talk about it. Anywho, that's it. Sorry about the stream name. We're not revealing anything. I think the companions should have just been spread over all factions and Anarch should have got multiple. I think that would be cool too. Yeah, I think one of each in each faction would actually be a really sick way that if you want to play the whole rig, but that would, however, make it more likely you see companions in every single matchup, which is bad considering the text on them because I'm not pro companion. But yeah, that's a cool idea that I like that when you break up the team or you spend influence to put in your deck. Isn't Daig Shaper Companion? Yep, Daig is a Shaper Companion. Unfortunately, Daig and their army of cats is not great. Turn Keiko into Companion Pawn Shop. Feed them to the dragon. On that note, thanks so much for watching. I have a button actually here. Check this out. I want to say this real quick. I don't do this enough on the stream. We are supported entirely on Patreon. Thanks so much. There's a new Patreon logo. It's not as good as I don't think. These names here are just all the folks at the Sure Gamble and above tier that have been supporting this channel now for quite a long time. A lot of folks have, so I entirely appreciate it. This sort of support's the only way that we can hang out on Tuesday stream and do this sort of thing, which is super, super sick. Another thing I wanted to offer for a lot of the folks who see their name here, I kind of want to add a little personality to your thing. So getting an icon next to your name to give you, you know, a bit of get a little bit of your stink on it so you can kind of express yourself a bit more. Seems like a fun idea. So if there's something you want next to your name, a little icon, nothing too big. If it's the name of your podcast, if it's a little thing to express your local meta or whatever, let me know and we'll try and get attached to that, which is really cool. Is it behind the spilled milk? Yeah, you know how it is. Keiko could bounce companions back to hand and gain a credit for doing so. That's cool too. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff there. Anyways, if you want to check out more, the link for the Patreon is always in the description below. We also have so many people that support this channel at the daily cast tier, which is like the entry level tier. And like, again, that is a lot of people. That support is incredibly appreciated. So thank you so much. Genuinely, thank you so much. I think that should be it. We'll be back on Thursday with Pat and hopefully we get a video up next week. Take care, y'all.